It is Monday, and you all know what that means. It is time to talk some more NFL football. We're going to be talking birds. We're talking college football playoff. We're talking about the popularity the Heisman voting. We're talking Belichick to UNC, and well, that's about basically all I have to talk about. But so do us a favor, kick back, relax, because episode number 22 of 609 Sports Talk starts right now. And welcome in everybody back to another edition of 609 Sports Talk live here on Facebook and of course over on YouTube. We are coming to you guys live from Hamilton, New Jersey. Of course, you all know this is the show that unites fans and ignites debate, and there's going to be a lot of debating on this show tonight. And as of course always, we are your hosts, Sam Nelson, Tyler Adams, and on the bottom screen, gentlemen, I think we have to do a little bit. I think we got to call Dean and Seth and Roman up because, like, I believe, what was it, 2016? We had the little Shield reunion. We got a little reunion here. This is OG 609 reunion going on right now.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
It's been a while. I know a lot of 609 stuff has changed. Welcome back to 609 for the night. Matt Arendek. Of course, he's on thousands of our Birds of the Gridiron post-game shows, which we haven't done in like 2 months just because this team's got me on an emotional high. I'm just too tired after the games to do it. They drive me nuts for 2 hours, and then I'm just I'm happy. But, gentlemen, how are we on this rainy day? Well, besides the rain, I'm doing good.
Pretty damn good.
The Phillies got a good win yesterday, and David Akers is knocking through field goals. Oh, wait.
Oh, shit.
Sorry, I turned into Tom Brady for a second.
Shoot. Man.
It was
15 years ago?
Yesterday's game was a roller coaster, but it was a fun roller coaster, and we're just enjoying another Victory Monday.
Yeah, and we're going to jump right into it. As everyone knows, Eagles, another win over the Steelers, 27-13. That's not the big story, though. The big story is that the Lions, they kind of opened the door a little bit now, you know. The Lions have been controlling the NFC all year. Now, granted, before we get into it, let's just be aware the Lions still hold the tiebreaker. They got a better conference record. We lost 2 conference games. They've lost 1. Good for them. So, but it's not just Eagles-Lions, even though I still think it's going to come down to the 1 seed between those. Don't sleep on them Vikings. They're still creeping up behind us, too. And They got a game tonight they play Atlanta, right?
I believe they...
No.
Not playing the Bears.
No, they play the Bears. Atlanta plays the Raiders. Okay.
Yep.
Who's doing doubleheaders this late in the season?
That's what I'm saying.
Why are we doing this late? I'm okay with the first, 6 weeks. You can do that. I'm cool with that. But, gentlemen, I guess I'm going to ask the question. Can the Lions hold off the Eagles for the 1 seed? I will let one of you start the conversation. The floor is yours.
Well, we'll let Matt start this one off.
Can they hold... honestly, I told you, Sam, I don't think so. They just got their 19th player on IR. It's not sustainable. I cannot see them going this much longer. There's no way.
And with the now notable injuries adding up to that McNeil,
McNeil's out for the year.
Montgomery's out for the year as well. Their backfield, their dynamic duo backfield, just got cut in half. Defensive front took another hit. I don't see them being able to withstand the storm of the playoffs.
No, I don't see it happening. There's no way. I can't. No, people people were bringing up what we did in 2017, but we didn't lose that many people.
No, I mean
We
we
just
lost
lost some
a
more.
piece, but
Yeah.
team was healthy regardless of that.
Yeah. Plus, our defense wasn't in shambles. We lost what? Hicks on defense. That was about it.
Yeah, I mean that was also the year we had Vitae step in for Peters, right?
Yep.
Peters was out the
Yep.
rest of the year, but still
Greatest.
only a handful of injuries. The Lions are just dealing with a lot.
Yeah, they're getting hit left and right. I don't see them keeping it up.
Yeah. Real quick, what's up, Carol? Welcome in. Happy Victory Monday. She agrees. The Lions, they don't really have much of a chance.
Mm-mm.
I just don't know how you overcome. Like, look, Aiden Hutchinson was going to be difficult enough.
Oh yeah,
I don't know and how they're going to combat now. McNeil, who's their best interior defensive lineman. Montgomery is a sustainable loss because not only is he more of the power back, it keeps them fresh with
yeah,
him and Jahmyr Gibbs. And now it's going to be a lot of Jahmyr Gibbs. Now, look, I ain't saying Jahmyr Gibbs can't do it. I'm not saying Jahmyr Gibbs isn't a good running back, but it's going to be real hard now
yeah,
it's going to be hard to sustain.
yeah. Like you said, Jahmyr Gibbs, he's a great running back. Can he carry the load for them? Partially, yes. He just physically doesn't have a certain aspect to his game, which is being bigger in size
Right.
and
Yep.
being more powerful. He's speedy, he's elusive, he's agile. He's still going to kill it on the ground. Still going to be a workhorse for him. And as long as he can stay healthy the rest of the stretch of these games here, he'll be a difference maker for him.
Now that
Oh, yeah.
we're on this line subject, I told Sam last night I want to have a little quick thing about it. I want to
Sure.
talk about Campbell and Nick Sirianni.
The floor is yours.
My also other thing is the Lions are not going to sustain it because I personally think Dan Campbell is going to ruin them. He's going to cost them again. He does too much cute stuff. Why are you kicking an onside kick with 12 minutes left?
That's questionable.
Now, can you imagine if that was Nick Sirianni?
Oh, the people are calling for his job.
What does he do better than Sirianni that everybody clamors over?
He bites kneecaps off. That's about it.
Why do we always have to go back to that?
That's his motto. That's
No,
literally his coaching style.
Now, don't get me wrong. I agree with this because to the point. Now, let's be clear here. Nobody, and I want to go back to the Jags game because that was the night I was still heated with Nick Sirianni because there are in-game things that you don't do.
Right.
I get teams are making the penalties, but the Jags weren't going away. You were still in a dogfight with them. You just take the points and you call it a day. I don't care if Jake was struggling. I also would like to find out if some of his struggles had to do. I know it doesn't make a lot of sense. Could it be possible that because he no longer does kickoffs?
Can you answer me? Was he taken off of kickoff duties last year as well, or was he still doing them last year?
He was doing
No,
it
he was
last year.
doing them.
He was doing them
It's
last
because
year.
of this new rule. Like, what is different between this and I don't understand the difference between just kicking the football.
Well,
the only thing different is the guys don't line up with you now.
a lot of teams are going to the punter now because they are trying to avoid injury to their kickers.
But then, oddly enough, we've seen a lot of kicker injuries this year.
Yeah, I know.
We've seen a lot of kickers struggle.
And struggle, exactly.
Yes.
Either get hurt or they're struggling.
Like, I almost feel like Justin Tucker against the Eagles a couple weeks ago someone had a bet on him to miss some kicks, and they were just looking in the stands like, I know where we're going after the game.
That man is done. He's been done since last year. He was missing kicks last year.
Yeah, this really did start with him last year. But
Yeah.
I don't understand why Jake was taken off of kicks, but whatever. But the point here is there's a way to adapt to that, right? Nick hasn't really made a lot of boneheaded decisions since then. And that's what we've always said. As long as one guy is willing to get out of his way and let the team do what they do, then everything will be fine. Nick has done that. yes, what Dan Campbell is doing, it is still reckless. I said it a few weeks ago when we were talking about him after the Packers game. I get what you're trying to do. You do not want to give Green Bay the football back at all. Mostly because your defense could not stop Jordan Love going down the field that night. I get it. I get the philosophy there. But heaven forbid, if you don't get it, we're talking a whole different story here. Because the Lions are teetering, and it's been happening for a few weeks now.
Yes.
Because the Packers almost beat them. They lost to Buffalo.
They barely beat the Bears as well. Was that the
only reason they beat the
Timeout
Bears is
blunder.
because Matt Eberflus was still the coach.
Yeah.
Any other coach, they probably lose that game.
Yep.
Urban Meyer's coach, and they probably still lose that game.
Okay.
Unless Urban was somewhere in a bar. I don't know. I don't know any good bars in Detroit. But anyway. But there's a point in time now where you're like, my defense is literally in shambles. I have no Alex Anzalone, who is basically the captain of my back seven as my middle linebacker. He will probably be back for the playoffs. But now I'm out Carlton Davis. Now I'm at who broke his jaw. There's something you don't see every day. Someone breaking their freaking jaw.
I know.
But Carlton Davis is probably out for the season. They would probably have to at least get to the NFC title game for him to come back.
Yep.
McNeil's out for the season. Hutchins has already lost for the season. This team is teetering on all sides. And now it hits the other side of the football with Montgomery. Now, look, the offense, it's still going to sustain things. Still have one of the top two offensive lines in the game. Still have Amon-Ra St. Brown. Still have Sam Laporta. You still have Jahmyr Gibbs. But it's the fact that those two are able to keep each other fresh, and you're going to lose that aspect now.
Yep.
Because now Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be the guy. I'm not saying he can't do it, but it's something we haven't seen him do in the NFL yet because they've been so good together. You know, it's like you got your Thunder with Montgomery and you got your Lightning with Gibbs. One guy's going to freaking muscle out 10 yards and 3 carries. The next guy could take the next one to 50 yards to the house. They're Thunder and Lightning. That's exactly what they are. Now, I'm not saying Jahmyr Gibbs' production is going to go off or anything, but it's going to be something new for him because he hasn't had to do it in the NFL because they've always had Montgomery. Now, does this mean Jared Goff's going to be leaned on a little bit more? Now, Goff had a great game yesterday. I mean, that game was just basically which offense is going to screw up first.
Yep.
And it turns out it really never happened. It was just the Bills got a freaking over a 10-point lead and they held on to it. But I think now you're going to have to you got to get Amon-Ra involved more. Sam Laporta, this ain't the Sam Laporta I saw last year because of how great their run game is. Wow, it's almost like another team's running game is taken away from their pass-catching options. But they don't get the national attention for that.
Nope.
It's almost like they just do what works until it doesn't work. Then you switch it up. But we'll talk about that in a minute. But, yeah, so Campbell's going to have to start adjusting to the fact of maybe instead of always – I don't want you not to be aggressive. You're down. You're trying to ice the game. I get it. I'm pro-aggressive. That's the way the league is now. Honestly, it's a big reason why Mike Tomlin lost that game yesterday because I don't know a guy in this world who is down 14 points who punts at midfield on 4th and 7 in that situation.
Yeah.
Because either way, you're probably going to lose the football game anyway.
Yep.
Because, your leading rusher yesterday had 14 yards. You weren't running the football. And already being down George Pickens hurts enough. So, you're probably still not going to win the game. But in that situation, it ended up costing you because you didn't touch the football for the rest of the freaking game. But, no, Dan Campbell, I like him. He's given Detroit the best stretch of football they've had ever. Like, there was never a stretch with Stafford and Megatron that was this good.
No.
Never. They were never this good with those two. And right now, I hope they're sitting there like, it took you sons of bitches this long for us for this team to look good. We sat there and suffered through all this crap for this? No, don't get me wrong. Megatron's happily retired. Stafford's got a Super Bowl in L.A. I don't
I
think they're
would
too upset,
say
but
Megatron's probably a little bit more upset of it too. He didn't get a chance to get a ring.
Yeah.
Sanders is probably pretty pissed off too after what he had to go through in the freaking 90s. Right. Sanders was the one that played with the Lions, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I always mix up 90s running backs, but no. Now you have to take that away. If you got a chance to get some points, you take them because your defense is already reeling, and like it's reeling. Like I don't know anybody left except maybe Zadarius Smith and Brian Branch, because Brian Branch is a stud. And I hope the whole we drafted Nolan Smith over Brian Branch thing goes away.
Yeah, I told people once he got time.
Because this wasn't BG over Earl Thomas again. People like to always bring that crap up, but at the end of the day, they're both probably going to end up being out of the NFL next year. BG Horse is probably going to retire, and they both ended with the same amount of Super Bowl rings.
Yep.
But that's my final thoughts on the line. Sorry that I went on a tirade there for a second.
That's it.
Y'all got anything else to add to this? Go ahead.
I just don't see what he does so much better. I don't. Why does he get praises for the things he does, but Nick Sirianni, everybody wants his head on a platter when he does something?
I think a lot of this,
not just in feeling, talking about in sports, people talking period about him.
Yeah, I think a lot in general is it comes down to how bad the Lions were and how bad they were struggling for so long. The Eagles really didn't have that same level of struggle as the Detroit Lions. So Sirianni kind of walked into a team. All right, when he took over, they won a Super Bowl in recent years. He's coming in. He's had good seasons every year so far. So it's kind of a different situation. This is why it's so tough with this fan base, because we expect the world. We expect so much out of every team, every year, every coach, every player. That's why everyone's always under constant criticism. But just think if you're a Detroit Lions fan. You had to sit through some seasons where you barely couldn't win a game. And then you come and you finally have this coach who's putting together these winning records, leading your conference, looking like a Super Bowl contender up until recent weeks with all these injuries piling up. So I think that's the main difference there.
I just want to point out to Anthony's comment, it's getting really hard to not agree with this. Because right now, he is playing out of his mind. The only thing I do want to say is, I want to know why his 1-yard touchdown runs are important to everybody. They don't matter to somebody else, though.
I ain't want to talk about that.
We haven't even gotten there yet. But no, I'm having a hard time arguing with Josh Allen not being the MVP. I know what we said a couple weeks ago. Yeah, and Anthony, that's the problem, though. Eventually, here's the thing. And please do not take this as I'm saying I'm comparing the Lions to the Eagles. I have seen the Eagles this year. My personal opinion, we didn't play that great offensively in Baltimore. We didn't play that great offensively against Carolina. We have had games. We didn't play great offensively against Cleveland, and we damn sure didn't play good offensively in New Orleans earlier in the year. We have had games where we have literally had to call upstairs and say, Vic, you got to go win me a football game. I don't know what Detroit's going to do when they meet that adversity.
Yeah.
Because I'm warning you now, okay? I'm not the Vikings. I'm not the Niners this year. I'm not the Bills, and I'm not the Rams. My defense travels. My defense will go into the hardest stadiums to play in and will shut your offense down. I don't care where I got to play. This is why people keep talking about the 1 seed. I don't care. We are guaranteed home playoff games until as of right now, we get to the NFC title game. Now, you got to get there, yes. But do you think I'm really scared of half these teams in the NFC outside Detroit to come to Philadelphia? I'm not afraid of Detroit coming to Philadelphia. My defense travels. So, yes, the Lions' offense, and Anthony, I get your point to their defense, but now the offense is taking hits.
Yeah. That's
People do not understand.
big question
Do
mark.
not undervalue how big David Montgomery has been to that Lions team. Don't do it. Do not ignore how important he has been to that offense.
Yep.
Because guess what? If he ain't out there against Green Bay, that fourth down play doesn't work. And again, once again, they're lucky that this is in college. Because in college, your quarterback's down with that.
Yeah. So yeah,
But-
like Sam said, my response to Anthony is that the reason we're talking about the Lions offense now isn't because they're not good. It's because they've suffered a huge loss. The defense we already know was banged up. It was already struggling. But the Lions, they were still one of the top scoring offenses in the league. So they were able to keep that up and maintain it. Losing one of your top running backs, if they were to lose either one of them, it's going to hit that offense big time.
And they are literally.
There we go.
Anthony, I don't take chill. Anthony, you've been watching my shows now for over 2 years. I don't take any chill pills. But and that's the point. The other thing is, it's unfair now to their offense because that offense now has to play 100% perfect.
Yep.
It cannot make one mistake.
Mm-hmm.
You may punt the ball one time in the whole game now, and you may lose. You may lose that game because you cannot afford it. This is almost like the 2018 Chiefs that lost to Brady in his last year. Or was it 2017? What year? No, it's 2018 because Mahomes was out there. You're sitting there, and Mahomes, he left that field. He had the lead. And all you're sitting there is like, yeah, they're going to lose because their best defensive player was D Ford.
What are you talking about?
We're talking about the 2018 Chiefs that played New England. And their defense, it was the worst defense in the league. This is what the Lions are going up against right now because it's not that you're losing defensive players. You're losing all of your top ones. Your best run defender, Aleem McNeil, out for the season. Probably one of the 5 best pass rushers in the game, out for the season.
Yep.
Your corner, your veteran corner, who was great in Tampa, out for the season, most likely. You're down to a few guys, and that's Branch, Arnold, and Jack Campbell, and Zadarius Smith. That's what you're down to. You're running out of players, and you can only sustain that. Look at yesterday. The Lions, clearly, they had 1 or 2 possessions they didn't score, and it lost them the game.
Yeah. That's the tough part about when your offense is light years better than your defense, is because you can score 35, 40 points in a game and lose that game. Because it will come down to that one drive or that one play that cost you the game.
Yeah.
Yes.
When do you ever see scoring 42 and you still lose? It doesn't really happen. You don't really see it.
Rarely, you're right. It rarely happens.
Scoring 42 should be enough to win you a game.
It should.
Scoring 27 should be enough to win you a game.
Yeah, honestly. I mean.
But no, they definitely, and there's nothing they can do about it. I mean, we're past you're not adding anything to help this.
No.
There's nothing out there. I mean, hell, what's the Ndamukong Suh up to, I guess?
Devondre Campbell's trying to get released so he can go sign with.
I'm glad you brought that up. I love that San Francisco did that and suspended him instead of releasing him, so he had the choice to go. I love that San Francisco did that. Well, first of all,
trust me, he would have went to a contender.
Yep. Yep.
Let me ask you this, right? Now, Tyler, did you see my YouTube short about this?
Which one?
The one I made last night.
No, I didn't see that one.
Just think of this, okay? You're Devondre Campbell. First of all, you just got cut by the Packers, okay? That's fine, whatever. Good run there. He got a really good run there. But you're signing on to a team that is led by what I believe is still the best middle linebacker in football. There's a guy that wears 53 in Philly this year that may say otherwise. But you're going to a team that is led by their leader, Fred Warner. I'm sure Devondre watched the Super Bowl and saw what happened to Dre Greenlaw, right? Now, he's not a captain of that defense, but Dre Greenlaw is the heart, passion, and soul of that defense, even though I think he's a scumbag. But don't use it doesn't the second when you're there in the offseason and you put that pen to paper, doesn't something in the back of your mind say, I'm a placeholder and I'm probably going to lose playing time when Dre gets back healthy? You didn't think of that when you signed the contract? I mean, surely you didn't think that they were going to pick you over Dre Greenlaw, right?
Apparently he did.
No, Anthony, you don't got to tell. I know this is the reason the Bengals are bad.
Yeah.
But see, I'm going to disagree with Anthony for one reason. The reason I'm going to disagree with him is there's a difference. The Lions' defense is hurt. The Bengals have neglected their defense. They let Jesse Bates walk. They let DJ Reader walk. Hey, guess what? Trey Hendrickson, you want a boatload of money? You ain't getting in freaking Cincinnati, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. Like, the Bengals are probably like a slightly positive winning record away from Joe Burrow being in the MVP conversation.
Yep.
Even if they had like 10 wins, he'd be in the MVP conversation. Even 9 wins. But their defense is just that bad.
Anthony, I said this year. I didn't say all career put together. All I'll tell you for this year, go look at the numbers.
Well, technically this year, last week, was last week before, Zach Bond overtook him as number one linebacker in football.
Zach Bond's got almost twice as many tackles. He's got the same amount of forced fumbles, except Fred doesn't have any recoveries. Zach has 3.5 sacks, 3.5 sacks to Fred's 1, and he's got 1 interception to Fred's 2. So the numbers tell me he's pretty damn good this year. That's all I'm saying. The numbers say it. Numbers back that up. I'm not saying Zach Bond's been better than Fred Warner. Fred Warner's a fucking stud. And I'm pretty sure if we all agree, if Fred Warner was on the Eagles, we'd be ecstatic. I'm not saying Zach Bond all time is better than Fred Warner. I'm saying this year, Zach Bond has been a freaking monster. But you know what? We've been on here now for almost a half hour. We have yet to talk about the Philadelphia Eagles. So I think it's time to
swing it on over.
I'm not talking to a guy who's on IR with a bruised ego, okay? I ain't in the boat for that, okay? I don't feel like showing up to work half the time. I still got to do it. But I'm just going to ask. Screen name just ask the question. Are we happy now? I'm not talking about you or the three of us. Are we happy now?
This is what y'all wanted to see, huh?
Oh, and now the narrative is, it's not what we want to see. It's what AJ wanted to see. AJ never said that.
No, he didn't.
The problem with the media around the world and in this city is that they take one-word answers and turn them into anything they want.
Yep.
And first of all, make that vote. Garrett's happy. We all happy. I don't know why people aren't happy. And by the way, I'm going to let you two go off and talk first. All I want to say is Colin Coward, Broussard, Chase Daniel, Acho, stay over there. I don't want that respect. You stay over there. Now we're the best team in football. Stay over there.
Yeah, I don't buy it for a half minute.
I remember what y'all said last week. Mm-hmm. And stay over there.
Yep.
The only guy I can listen to about this team is Ryan Clark, who's the only guy at ESPN with some credibility. And Shady, because Shady's been with us since day one. But I can't listen to that show because it involves a journeyman linebacker who played, 2 years in the NFL?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. Maybe like a year and a half.
Another guy that was mad because he signed a $7 million a year deal to back up Sam Bradford and then lost that out to Carson Wentz, which, newsflash, you could have saw that coming. And another guy on there who is only a capable wide receiver because of Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I can't.
Hi,
James
Jane.
Jones, he's been a known Eagles hater, so I ain't got nothing to listen to him.
Well, he's only the second greatest James Jones in sports history. Shout out Miami Heat shooter James Jones, who has more rings than him. But anyway.
They can all, same thing with Ike Reed, same thing with Seth Jordan. Y'all can stay over there. Just all
Don't get
last
me
week,
started with
they
that.
were ripping this whole team. Nope, I'm good. Stay over there. I don't want to hear it. Do not
Don't.
jump back on this camp. Nope.
There was something that Sirianni said in his press conference after the game, and someone asked him, what was it? That if the offense is back, and he responded with, "I don't think it's back because I don't think it went anywhere." And that's the perfect response because everyone acts like they were actually struggling, like there was actually a problem. They were just playing football week in, week out. You're playing different teams. You're not going to beat every single team the same way. You have to adapt.
Yep.
And what did they do? They came in against the Steelers team who is known to stop the run. We didn't do too well on the ground, but guess what? They have weak defensive backs. We exposed that.
It's almost like that when you need to throw the ball, you can. But we're only going to, and the Steelers did. I gave the Steelers credit. I said this is going to be a tough game stopping against the run because the Steelers are good at that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Kara, I got my opinion about that fight, by the way. I got something to point out with that in a second, but. And everyone, it all played just the way everyone predicted. Oh, this is the game that the Eagles get exposed. They're going to make Jalen Hurts play quarterback. How'd that work out? Because all I saw was a 128 passer rating.
25 for 32.
Yeah.
290.
I'm not even mad. I'm not even mad about the fumble. That's just a great play by TJ Watt. That's just a great play. There ain't nothing else you could do.
Let's be real too. Didn't we see this all 2022?
Yeah.
We didn't have that great of a run game. It was good. Not the way it is now. What did Hurts do all 2022? Bomb people out left and right. So why people all act like, why? Because of last year? Because we had a crappy year?
Yeah. I think everyone's still living in that past moment from last year where they had the downfall the last 6 games of the year.
And here's the thing. I know we got to get up all these comments here. I know that. But this is why you shouldn't. The first thing that should show you this isn't last year is what happened in the back of that end zone. Because do you remember last year when San Francisco came in here and they pushed James Bradbury during warmups and pushed the whole team around? No one did a damn thing. Yep. I saw dudes about to beat the living hell out of those Steelers players yesterday because of what happened with Darius Slay. By the way, Darnell Washington, he's a real tough guy until 98 walked over to him. We were real tough till 98 showed up.
Hey, but did you see who the first person was over there?
Quinyon Mitchell.
He said, don't mess with OG. He said, no, sir.
But do you remember what I'm talking about with San Fran? They just came in. They were pushing Bradbury around. We were all just standing there. Bradley Roby collect. I'm like, what? Well, do we have a team here? Does this team like each other? What's going on? That was not there last year.
Nope.
So that's right there. Any demons of 2023 should have been dead since the Cleveland game. And I'm saying that because I'm the one that was concerned. There is nobody that will sit here more, honestly, and say that he wasn't concerned more than me. Because it was still, I was seeing it. Bad decision-making. Too many turnovers. Jalen just not playing to the extent that I know he can. Because I said, I know 2022 is still in there. I know it is. It doesn't go away in one season. It doesn't go away all of a sudden. I don't care teams game plan for you. You still find ways. And since the bye week, he has played I think he's actually played his best stretch of football since the bye week this year compared to 2022. Now, 2022 he was great, but this stretch is ridiculous. Can you make some of the case for Saquon Barkley? Absolutely, he's a big reason to that. Absolutely. Saying that, like that's the thing. Now all of a sudden people are like, "Oh, is Saquon that important?" That would be the next headline. That'll be the next freaking headline in the newspaper, if anyone still reads newspapers. But still, that'll be the next headline, knowing this freaking city. No, tomorrow's headline is Saquon mad he only got 19 carries. Oh, my God. That's what we'll do. This is what we will do in this city.
No,
But
it'll be is Saquon burnt out.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Guy took Minka's freaking knee to his thigh, which, by the way, for the people that were so up in arms about was he legitimately, like, seriously hurt, do you understand when something hits the top of your quad that some bitch tightens up like a knot? I'm a basketball player. I'm taking knees to my quad 1,000 times. That shit tightens up. And when you're taking a guy's helmet to it, he got a bruise. He got a small bruise on that bitch. Knees to quads are not fun. But that's my point. This is why 2023, yes, it happened. Congratulations, it happened. We were 11-6. We were 10 and we were 10-1. We were 10-1 and we blew the division. We lost in the first round, rightfully so. But this is not that team anymore. And the big reason of it is because of the adjustments as a coach and as a person that Nick Sirianni has taken. Because I'll tell you now, the way he handled this past week and a half was sensational. He handled everything the right way. And yes, people are like, oh, they came out and they were throwing the ball. Yeah. And people are trying to say, like, oh, no, they're trying to do to settle their wide receivers' egos. No, it's because Pittsburgh's secondary is not better than their front seven. There is nobody in that Pittsburgh secondary that can put the status tier of a Watt or a Cam Hayward or a Pat Queen. There's none of them. Maybe Minka. But I've seen AJ take Minka to the woodshed 1,000 times. Go ask him about that 2 years ago. But if anyone is afraid of 2022, that's right, 2023, you're going to be stuck there forever because this is not the same team. Nick Sirianni is a different coach, which, by the way, now you have to start putting. I want more coaches to get respect in this league. Because, the one thing I want to say about what Matt was saying, Dan Campbell ain't the only guy that's coaching a great year, okay? I like Dan Campbell. But I feel like that's the only head coach I hear. I'm sorry. Nick gets nothing but hate in this league. I'm sorry. Has anybody? Oh, Sam Darnold's having a great year. Has anybody talked about Kevin O'Connell this year and how great he's been?
You haven't really heard much of anything about the Vikings. They're just like the little brother to the Lions, essentially. And tonight they have a chance to have a tied record with them.
I'm saying, okay, what about Sean Payton?
Yeah,
what he's been doing this year.
They're what, 9-5 now?
Yeah. Now, granted, I know Bo Nix played bad yesterday, but somehow Anthony Richardson played worse, which that's going to be a surprise to anybody at this point.
I told people about him. Nobody wanted to listen.
We got to catch up on some comments.
Yeah, Kyler, catch the comments up, and then we'll go back. I'll let you two go off and talk whatever you want to talk about.
Just saying, would it be smart to throw the ball to A.J. Brown in the middle, open, than throwing to Smith tight coverage? I don't know what he's referring to exactly.
Care where he's throwing the ball to these two. They're going to catch it.
If the ball's going to one of them two, I'm assuming that he saw something, and they're going to catch it. As simple as that.
Yeah.
I trust my quarterback's decision-making.
And you saw it yesterday, because what did he do differently that he didn't do against the Panthers? The ball was coming out quick.
And not
that's all that has the ball.
Real quick, on Jalen Hurts, people say that he's a one-read quarterback. What did he do? He pointed to the tight end to go up, then scanned the field and saw Devontae Smith drift all the way to the middle and fired a bullet right to him.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he actually commanded two of them because he not only told Calcaterra to move, he told Saquon to move.
Yep.
He bowed them both. Go this way and here comes 6 wide open. By the way, I can't believe how many times we converted on 3rd and 15 plus yesterday. Yeah. I feel we haven't done that in 2 years.
Yeah. Usually they fall behind the sticks, so you don't really expect to see much except for a punt on 4th down.
Yeah.
Tyler, Tyler, real quick, catch up to these comments so we can keep going here because we are far behind.
Georgie's watching live from Bryce's basketball game. He's cooking.
Well, Georgie, unlike threes, it's actually just raining here.
And then Carol said, well, we are exposed, eat dust.
I like that comment, Carol. Let's go. I like that comment.
And then Anthony said, Anthony he loves trying to get under our skin.
That's fine.
He said, so you're telling me the Eagles can go far in the playoffs having number 1 rushing, but number 28 in passing where teams have time to work to prepare? What stat are they number 28 in
Passing.
Which specific stat? Like
wait,
Passing
wait, Anthony. So teams don't have time to prepare for that now? Teams don't watch tape now?
We only 28 because the last few weeks we stopped throwing the ball.
Yeah. They're gonna beat teams however they need to beat them. They just proved it against Pittsburgh. If they have to beat them on the ground, they're gonna beat them on the ground. If they have to beat them through the air, they're gonna go beat them through the air. If it's a defensive battle, it's gonna be a defensive battle.
Damn it! That's what I was gonna say. You want us to outthrow you? We'll do it. You want us to outrun you? We'll do it. You want us to lock your ass down? We'll lock your ass down. This team can win in every facet of the game.
I want to check something.
Give me a defensive battle. Won those. Give me an offensive shootout. Won those. Give me a run game that has to win you the game. Done those.
Now, this comment right here. This is what I believe. Every week of the NFL season is different. It doesn't matter if you're playing a team that's 10-3, 10-4. You're playing a team that only has 3 wins. Doesn't matter. Each game is going to play out differently. They both have their strengths. They both have their weaknesses. Some teams might be playing to more of their strengths on any given week, even if they only have 3 wins, like the Panthers. Panthers have come out the past few weeks and have just been playing really good football.
Yeah.
But guess what? They adjusted. They did enough to get the win. That's it. The win's a win.
Yep. And to go off of Anthony's comment as well, there's not one team in the NFC besides us that are top 10 in passing, defending the pass and the run. Lions are one of the top teams against the run. They are horrible after McNeil. Minnesota, they're number 1 against the run, or number 2. They're horrible against the pass. We're the only team in the NFC that's top 10 in both. Top 6 in both.
Exactly.
Like that. Top 6 in both. So anybody, if we got to play the Vikings, they stop Saquon, we're going to carve them up through the air. They can't stop the pass. Detroit can't stop
While we take Jettas and Addison and make them for y'all just run wherever you want. Because Vic Fangio has a way of just taking any top playmaker out of a game.
Yeah.
He will find a way.
And also, I don't know if you guys know, but we are now 3-way tie for fewest points allowed this season at 17.6. Yeah.
This defense hasn't allowed 20 points in this whole win streak. They've only allowed 20 one time.
Well, yeah, because people keep saying Jacksonville scored a touchdown.
Which was not a defensive touchdown, because I didn't know down by contact wasn't a thing of that week.
Yeah, right. It was a new rule.
What rule? Oh, the hip drop tackle? Oh, wait, we don't know. If you're going to try to make a rule, at least make an effort to enforce it.
They can't do that. That'd be too easy.
Yeah, if you're going to call it holding, at least call a flag on Hayward for having the man by the throat.
Thank you. I pointed that out yesterday. Well, Here's what I like, right? The Ravens were one of the most penalized teams for offensive lines.
For holding.
Nothing. Yep. Joey Porter is one of the most frequently flagged corners in the league. Nothing. Meanwhile, I saw Jalen Carter running around there the one time in a tank top. That's how much he was being held. Nothing.
You need to make a new rule, too. If a receiver has got the way of somebody and he throws himself into him, like Pat Queen did to get a OPI, is bullshit. How is that OPI when Smith moved and he threw himself into him?
If you're leaning into him, but this is the other issue, right? Because when you're on the field, you're moving at a game speed. Most refs aren't going to sit back and really look at that and be able to see that, oh, he took a dive into him. This is why we do need more stuff coming from up top in the booth.
Yep.
There needs to be more deeper insights into these interference calls, offensively, defensively, because they literally change the course of a game, and they don't get them right more than 50% of the time.
No. Well, first of all,
even like that late hit.
Yeah.
Well, what about the 1 year that they actually did let pass interference get reviewed? But then they must have thought of, well, no, because then A, we have to actually do our jobs, and B, they'll actually probably get the calls all correct when we want to try to have some go the other way.
When they were doing that, don't forget, when there was blatant PIs, they were reviewing it, and they were still saying, oh, it wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
No.
They got a script to stay on top of. They can't deviate too far from it. Then the league will actually be competitive and fair.
You don't want my opinion on scripted, because I have something that's scripted already. There are 3 now things guaranteed in life: death, taxes, and Pat Mahomes getting some type of an ankle injury. Pat Mahomes has an ankle injury every single season. Have we ever noticed this? That this guy has his ankles must be like this, because it's something every year.
And they say it's a high ankle sprain, but they think he's going to be able to play.
Oh yeah.
If it's a high ankle sprain, he's not playing. So it's something, but it's not a major. They're trying to.
This ankle sprain is probably the same one that took him out at halftime in the Super Bowl, and then he came back out running like no tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay. I thought you were going to say the 3 things with death, taxes, and fucking MB getting his face broken.
Oh gosh.
3 fractures in his face.
We're not doing this again. This is a football show tonight. We are not doing this.
I just had to throw you in there real fast.
I don't hate myself enough to do this to myself. But I want to talk about the defense. But before we get to that, we need to talk about the fourth quarter.
Oh my goodness!
What was one of the greatest drives I have seen in my life. This is honestly what Nick Sirianni. This is like a Nick Sirianni special.
I think you meant to call it the Eagles quarter.
Man, truth be told.
Quarter. How about the Eagles' second half? Pittsburgh only had the ball 2 times. They ran 11 plays for 5 minutes in the second half.
Yep.
The last 3 drives, 13 plays, 7 minutes. 13 plays, 6 minutes. 21 plays, end the game.
Yeah. And then you can forget about all that and just look at how the defense shut them out the whole first quarter.
They have minus 3 yards in first quarter.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not being that guy, but having your best playmaker out, that hurts. Like, we know how that feels. Having AJ Brown and those guys out. But that's what you do. When teams have their best guys out, you take advantage of it. And they did. But that drive was ridiculous. I mean, and there were a few times where the Eagles were facing 3rd and 13, 3rd and 20, and like Matt brought up earlier, it was that completion to Smith over the middle of the field, wide open. Yep. That saved that drive because it was like 3rd and 18 at the time. And then you got even though the hip drop tackle, that was like an 18-yard completion that got you close for the tush push to win you the game. And another guy on offense that we haven't talked about a lot. And before I get to him, I want to say the one thing. People were saying, like, how they came out. This is what the Eagles were going to do. The first play of the game is a completion to Grant Calcaterra for 22 yards.
Yep.
As soon as Nick Sirianni and Kellen Moore saw that, they're like, all right, this is how we're going to attack them.
Mm-hmm.
That's no offense to Grant Calcaterra, but come on. Who's game planning for him?
That's honestly why whenever Goddard gets hurt, he goes out there. He's always open.
No, it's not whenever. It's when. It's just when at this point. When he gets hurt, because it's going to freaking happen.
Dallas Goddard is the Joel Embiid of the Eagles.
Oh, wow.
Dallas Goddard's played in a Super Bowl, sir.
True.
Dallas Goddard's made it out of the first round.
The thing is, though, we know it's at some point he's going to get hurt. We know it.
I feel so bad because he's so damn talented, but the guy just can't stay healthy.
That's the same
The
thing.
guy's
I know it's football, but it's the same thing with Embiid. He's a generational talent, but the guy, he's snake bitten. He just can't stay healthy. It's a shame. Add him to the list of other stars who were generational talent, McGrady, all them, couldn't stay healthy.
What could have
it's
been?
like Eric.
Yeah,
It's like Eric Lindros after he got knocked out with the Rangers.
what could have been with Embiid? It will never be.
No, at this point, it's just if Joel Embiid is what it is at this point. I have
Yeah.
nothing else to say. He even brings just the voodoo because now Jared McCain's out. It's just the voodoo.
The voodoo.
Oh yeah, McCain tore his meniscus.
It's
It,
what we get for doing the process. All the years we tanked, we're cursed. We're a cursed franchise. Put it like that.
and then he claims himself the process. So yeah, we are. It's like the Antichrist almost. He literally is the freaking curse of the century. He is. This guy is the curse of the franchise. Tell you right now, you better have the best inspectors when you build that
You got me
arena.
started, Matt.
So something may have. You better be careful building that arena.
Walk up the aisles to your seat and just tear something.
Oh my god.
So, first guy steps in there, then Embiid, whole thing caves in.
Floor just breaks on him. But Goddard, though, man, I feel so bad for that guy.
I do. And I keep saying it. They're going to have to do one of two things with Dallas Goedert after this year. It's either going to have to be get rid of him entirely, or you have to tell him, like, look, you just can't stay healthy as the one. You may want to consider taking that Brent Selleck role.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
draft
crazy
the
'cause,
kid and put.
hasn't been in the league for extraordinarily long time.
No.
How many
Selleck
years has it been?
They came in
Selleck
19, I believe.
18.
18.
You sure?
That was the year that. It was the year after the Super Bowl. We traded our first round pick. It was in Dallas, and we took because that was when Akers announced it.
Yeah, you're right. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, just remember something. If you remember how the Eagles run, Brent Selleck wasn't that old when they drafted Zach Ertz, and Zach Ertz wasn't that old when they drafted Dallas Goedert.
True. Oh,
It could still.
Warren.
I would.
Here we go.
But let me tell you this one. Who just brought up Tyler Warren? And you saw him play one game, and we fell in love with the guy instantly. But a guy I want to before we get to the defense, I show some love for Kenny Gainwell. That's what an RB2 does. And granted, he got some extended playing time yesterday because Saquon got his knee dinged up by Minka Fitzpatrick, and I mean Minka has a habit of doing that, but he comes
I want to
out.
point out something. I feel like most of the game yesterday, and I don't know if this happens every week, whoever's playing the Steelers, I feel like they tackle very low.
They do. I noticed that.
Like not just like a normal low body to like below the knees tackles. Like they're being taught go for the legs, take the legs out from underneath of them.
Yeah, it was a lot yesterday. Yeah.
They do tackle very low, and I'm not saying that they're out there trying to intentionally do something, but
No, I don't think so either. But it's just, I just think it's weird because you see most teams wrap them up at the waist, bring them down, or wrap them up at the thighs, bring them down. I just feel like I see them going like below the knees, trying to chop people's legs out from under them.
Yeah. All right. Let's move over to the defensive side of the football, and here's some. I hear it real quickly. Florida State quarterback DJ Ugalele has declared for the NFL draft.
Why?
Oh, that's a 6th-round pick.
He might not even go. He might not even get drafted.
Dude, he was bad this year for them.
He wasn't very good at Clemson either.
He was. That's why he went to Florida State. Oh. Yeah, 6th round. He might be 7th round. Who knows?
Well, when your last name is Ukulele, what do you expect?
Well, I mean, it only took us till he transferred to figure out how to actually pronounce his name. But
I still can't pronounce it. I still call him Ukulele.
We'll talk about. Look, we're gonna play college football talk here in a few minutes. So,
Well, yeah. Well, real quick while it's up here on my phone, another Bama guy gone. Freshman 5-star recruit entering the portal. Defensive back.
damn, I thought Ryan Williams was coming to Penn State.
So yeah, Bama's
I
going
knew
to
it
be bad
was.
next year.
So
Very bad.
just quick question on that. Since that guy transferred to Notre Dame, does he get to play in the playoffs with us or no?
I don't
No,
think so.
because
It only
because
goes
of how the portal works, you have to go immediately. Because I just lost my backup quarterback, Bo Prabilia, because of this, and James Franklin is pissed at how this is lined up.
Yeah.
The transfer portal window should open the minute the playoffs are over.
It should, like, once the season's done. Like, not just
Yeah,
regular season, once the full season's done.
because now, heaven forbid something happens to 15. I have to put a freshman out there who hasn't played a damn down yet. That's ridiculous. I'm not saying that because I'm a Penn State fan. I'm talking about the portal in general. It's ridiculous. I'm okay with the portal, but this is not
Ooh,
the way to do it.
No.
same. Ooh.
Oof.
Thoughts, comments, concerns?
Okay.
I'll just hold your thoughts, Stan, until we get to college.
Okay. I got a pretty good amount of NFL players, I'll say otherwise.
Yeah.
Well, Anthony, if guys are leaving Alabama, I feel pretty good. But let's talk about this defense real quick. The reason I think this defense is better than this is probably the best defense we've had in this city in over 20 years. And the reason I say that is it is great at every level. The
Yep.
front four, front 5, 6, how many ever guys Fangio puts on the defensive line. I think it's fair. We're probably all at one point concerned about the edge rushers with Brandon Graham going out.
Yeah.
Josh Sweat is having this probably maybe the best year of his career. I think he's honestly maybe played a little bit better than his 2022 year. And I say it because he's putting up the production. And that guy that was here, who, by the way, from what I've seen with him and the Jets, Howie Roseman somehow was smarter than everybody again. Because, oof. I don't know if it's the scheme over there in New York, but Hassan Reddick,
It's the Jets.
oof.
It's the Jets.
It's not
The
looking
Jets are
good.
cursed.
No, well, I can blame some of this on him. He should have took the damn contract when he had the chance to shut up. It's going to be a rough offseason for Reddick.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But once again, and guess what? If you keep him and he's disgruntled, or if you keep him and he's playing like this, Nolan Smith, what can you say? This kid is turning into a bona fide, really good player.
He is.
What's
That
that?
man's out there jumping over running backs.
What did I tell you back in March?
Shoot.
That he was going to be a Hassan Reddick clone.
Yeah. I mean, they're pretty similar build types, you know? Edge rushing linebacker. They're not big enough to be a traditional defensive end, but they got that speed and the quickness off the edge.
I say he needed time. He needed playing time.
Yeah.
Now, I know we haven't gotten to college yet, but I want just to get to Bruiser's comment because he's absolutely right. The portal window should not open until the national title game is over. Then we do this.
Yep.
The fact that it's not like, look, I know, and the reason with Bo is, let me just bring this up really quick. Bo was in the same class as Drew Allen. They came to Penn State together. He will never start a game at Penn State if he doesn't transfer because of what happened, the announcement that came earlier today, but we'll talk about that later. But no. And then also, I know somebody on Twitter asked about what happened, like why is Charles Harris getting no snaps? Charles Harris has been part of this team for 2 weeks. You're not going to get playing time over guys that have been here all summer, all off season.
Yep.
And honestly, we don't want to ruin what the edges are doing. Smith's been amazing. Sweat's been amazing. Jalix Hunt is probably ahead of schedule in his development. Now, still got a lot of work to do. But what do you expect from a guy who was playing safety 2 years ago?
Yeah.
The edges are doing their job. The boys in the middle, he ain't running on them.
Nope.
I get 98. That's a bad penalty. That's a stupid penalty. You can't do that. But you know what? A part of me will say this. If I'm him, and I'm sorry, if I got a little bit of an ego and I'm dominating interior offensive lineman the way that he does, and every single play, this is all I'm getting pissed off too. And say, you know what? Get out of my face. Getting mad too. Now, and look, sideline went over the Nick after the whole thing with Clint Hurt. I think all that was Clint Hurt saying to Nick, yo, that's my guy. I coach him. I got this. Yeah. And Jalen went right over to Nick a few minutes later and hugged it out. We good. Don't even try it, media. Don't even try it. It's already done.
Yeah, but that's what Clint Hurt told me. He goes, I got it. Don't worry, I got it.
And Nick even addressed it in the post-game interview. He said that, as the head coach, if his guys are doing something that he doesn't think smart, it's his job to correct it as the head coach. So that's what his intentions were. And, Clint Hurt was like, let me handle it.
Yep.
Well, Bruiser, I'm going to get into that later because that is ridiculous.
If this situation alone doesn't tell college football that it needs to adjust its timing with the transfer portal stuff, then I don't know what is. What's going to be their definitive moment of like, okay, this isn't right.
I agree. But back to what I was saying with this defense. I mean, if you just look at that front, Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, who people still think is a bust, he has a role in this team. He's not a bust. But I like to talk about what it's not just like, oh, Fangio came here and Jalen Carter is a generational talent. Jalen Carter came in the last year to the worst defensive coordinators in the league, and he was a generational talent. We knew what Jalen Carter was going to be the moment that he was drafted. I think everybody knew it. But what he's done for guys like Milton Williams, who is going to get a hefty contract this offseason.
We're going to lose him just like we lost Hargrave. We develop these guys, and then these teams pay them boatloads of money.
No. Difference. Hargrave was not drafted here.
That is true. I agree.
He is not. I just want to know, when did the in-season extension stop?
Right?
I don't know.
When did that stop all of a sudden?
I just know one thing. His number one priority better be sign back Zach Bond.
Yes. Bond needs to get. Now, don't go crazy, okay? Let's see, and this is where, Sam, like you just said, let's bring those in-season extensions back. Let's give him a 2-year extension to start. With maybe a third-year option.
Because they will look at themselves. Because here's what they could do, right? They will have with Milton Williams, I want to keep because Milton Williams has been amazing. They will have some leverage with Zach Bond because they could say, look, what were you doing before we got Vic Fangio near you? Not to mention, we still have insurance because the guy next to you is still under contract, and he's been freaking amazing too.
Yes, but I want to keep them both.
But I know that, but what would stop them from saying, who says Vic can't do this with somebody else?
That's what I'm saying.
I'm not saying he can't. I'm not saying, look, I'm not justifying if Zach Bond leaves. Zach Bond needs to be here. First of all, Zach Bond's also only 27 years old. It's not like he's 35. He's still young. Like, I want to keep this group together and add youth to it.
Yeah.
That's why I have a feeling that they're going to do what you just said. Why can't we do it with somebody else? And then we'll look at Trotter and I'm like, okay, we're going to thrust Trotter into that now.
No, because Vic Fangio has a lot of say in what he does with that unit, and he is not stupid. Like, I'm sorry, Vic Fangio would not have been here. See, this is what I hate about 2023. Vic Fangio would not have sat there with Howie Roseman and said, oh, yes, Nicholas Morrow is who I want. Vic Fangio ain't saving that scrub. I trust Vic Fangio with whatever you give him after what I've seen this year. But this is my point, though. If you remember Jim Johnson, you had Simon, Walker. Were they a Jalen Carter or a Fletcher Cox? Hell no. But they were good at what their job was. Hurst, Derek Burgess. They did their job. Trent Cole when he came in later.
Yep.
In the middle, Trott, Semino, Emmons, Keith Adams, even though he was way too fat to be a linebacker. But the difference between, and this people keep saying, what about Jim Schwartz's defense? The difference between Jim Schwartz, Jim Johnson, and Vic Fangio, two of those guys put together some of the best secondaries you will ever see in Eagles history. You already had Troy Vincent and Bobby Taylor here. You replaced them with Sheldon and Lito, and they turned into the best damn near decade and a half of corners we had. Now, granted, we went through some times after that were pretty unfun, but I think we can agree we've made up for that. But Schwartz had one really good player in his secondary. We know who that was. Rodney was solid. Ronald Darby could never show. Ronald Darby suffered just too many lower leg injuries to show his potential, in my opinion. The ankle, breaking his ankle the first game he plays, tore his ACL twice. He got put in a bad spot. And Jalen Mills is as slow as a tortoise. I love Jalen Mills. He had the dog in him, the finger wag, the attitude. The dude was as slow as a turnip. I love the guy, but he couldn't run. Vic Fangio, and with help of Howie Roseman, has put together the best secondary we've had in 20 years. To the people, and me included, off the field, sometimes when he acts like an idiot, I can't stand him. Darius Slay shows you every week still, even when he's not making all the interceptions that we're used to, teams will not dare to. Thou shall not dare to throw at one Darius Slay. Just like one will not throw at Quinyon Mitchell. Do you know how annoying it must be as a quarterback when you can't throw outside the numbers because the guys on the outside are that damn elite? Okay, I'll go dunk it down in the...
Yeah, dunk it down across the middle of the field. Oh, Cooper DeJean's locking him down.
Okay, and all right, let's throw it deep. You're getting knocked out by one of those two, or they're knocking themselves out.
Did you guys notice
You just had to say
what Slay's doing that he wasn't doing last year?
Playing next to James Bradbury?
No. Besides that, I want to see if you guys know. What is he doing this year he wasn't doing last year?
Willing to tackle?
Yep.
Yeah.
He's actually getting down and tackling.
He's at least willing.
Nobody went to tackle last year.
Yeah.
I remember.
No player wanted to play for those coordinators last year.
You can tell. You can just tell nobody wanted to play.
Yeah.
And you remember what ESP said? The side wasn't the problem at all.
Oh, yeah.
Really. But that's the point. My one gripe was, I remember when we were in our DC search, I was talking Wink Martindale. I was talking to myself into something different. But what did I say, Tyler? As much as I hate the Fangio scheme, if you're going to use it, get the guy that perfects it, who created it. And I'm sorry, this is way better than whatever the heck we've had over the past 20 years. This is better than Schwartz, and this is sure as hell better than that 26. Because as great as 2022 was, the 70 sacks, that's what all we were good at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That defense was still flawed. Because I'm sorry, I can't trust a defensive coordinator that allows a walk-in touchdown to Kadarius Toney. I can't trust that guy. The Cardinals saw him and said, "Oh, we like this guy." Okay, freaking nerd. He's a nerd. So I hate Jonathan Gannon. I hate Jonathan Gannon still. To this day, I hate it. Cost me a Super Bowl. He cost me a damn Super Bowl. Because he had his freaking earpiece with the Cardinals in as he's coached the game. But still. And you see what the unit's bought into what he's doing. Everybody. CJ missing tackles the first month of the season. Hasn't done that. He's up there trying to knock dudes out so much, he's knocked himself out a few times against Carolina. Jesus. And I just hope certain people, and that one certain person knows who they are. He knows I love him. I love talking to him. He's a good friend of mine. I met him last year. He's one of my Eagles brethren. All you had to do was watch Tristan McCullum against the Panthers to realize how important Reed Blankenship is to this football team.
Yeah.
Because this is the thing. You got to get the football out quick against this defensive line. Your linebackers ain't giving up nothing after the catch or if the run gets up to the second level. You can't throw outside the numbers. You can't throw inside the numbers. Don't you throw deep over the middle of the field. Because they're the only two guys that have interceptions in our secondary.
They are.
So Bourne and Dean each have one. But I mean, in the secondary, they're the only guys that have one.
Yep.
They have 3 each. Because they won't throw at the other 2. You won't throw it. And even Isaiah Rodgers. Isaiah Rodgers has had his moments where he hasn't looked great, but he has stepped in when asked to and has done a good job. Like yesterday, when they had their 6 DB set, he was the 6th one out there, which is the greatest thing because guess what? I don't have to watch Avonte Maddox again.
I never thought I'd see the day where we would have both Avonte Maddox and James Bradbury on the roster, and we didn't have to watch them play on the field.
Bruiser, leave me alone. Leave me alone. But the last thing I just want to say is the media got it wrong. They tried it again. Everybody tried to make Jalen Hurts out to be and A.J. Brown to be bad guys. Guess what? They went in. They beat the leader in the AFC North and handled them without problems. They have beaten them, the Ravens, the Commanders, because I love how we move the goalposts on these opponents, too. Because the Commanders, Jaden Daniels was the MVP of the league until we played the Eagles. Until we played the Eagles, he was the MVP of the league, I heard.
Yep.
This team is easily, right now, Bruiser and I got into this on Dueling Aces last week about how dare I say he said they weren't playing like the second best team in the NFC. No, actually, you can make the case they're playing like the best team in the NFC. Because I'll tell you right now, Detroit's running out of players. They are running out of players. They're down to like their last two great defensive players. But like I said, and the last two things I'll say, if you guys want to add remarks about the Eagles, you're feel free. The last two things I will say, I am sorry to Jalen Hurts, and I am sorry to Nick Sirianni.
I gotta clip that
because if I'm Anthony, the fact that you only scored 10 points for about 58 minutes of the game also had something to do with it. And Anthony, we only won because of Saquon Barkley. Like, what does that mean? What does that even mean?
Hold up a minute. All right, let's break this down. Now, see, I could always tell. I've gotten good over the years of telling when Anthony's trying to ruffle some feathers and when he's serious. I know he's trying to ruffle some feathers right now. All right, so let's look at this. Right, only one because of Saquon Barkley. Jalen Hurts, 18 for 28. Oh my gosh, he missed 10 throws. Probably a couple drops in there. 221 passing yards. Saquon Barkley, 26 carries, 146 yards, 2 touchdowns. A.J. Brown, 5 for 65. What else? Dallas Goedert, 5 for 61. Saquon, 2 for 52. That's a team effort right there.
Bruiser also, though, I will give Bruiser this. He is always easy to come up and admit these things. And Bruiser just likes to break. But he's like Anthony. Bruiser likes to break my balls in the chat. He always does it.
It keeps things interesting. We got to have someone to yell at.
Just because he's replying to Carol, he will start chops about our birds all the time.
So, Sam, can you say that again real fast, though, what you said like 5 minutes ago? I need to record it.
Oh, yeah, just say it again for the people in the back that didn't hear.
Okay, now look. The first person I will say I'm sorry to again is Nick Sirianni, because I was very critical of him heading into this season. But all I will say is, if you want to hear this, Nick Sirianni now has a record of 45-19. He has the highest winning percentage at 703 among all active head coaches. He also is 5th highest winning percentage among all coaches in NFL history. Not only that, most wins since the start of 2022. The Chiefs, 38. The Eagles, 37. The Bills, 35. If Dan Campbell is a good head coach, then Nick Sirianni is just as good as a head coach. And I will say it again. I am sorry to Jalen Hurts, who is easily playing the best stretch. I think he is playing the best stretch of football in his career. I don't care what the numbers say. The guy wins. This is what I hate about the media in this city. and all the fans that complain. Do you want to go back to the days of Sam Bradford and Mark Sanchez? You deserve those days, actually. No, those people deserve to cover those days. Do you want to go back to the years after Carson Wentz got hurt? Because I don't. I like winning 11-plus games every year. I like being in the NFC Championship game conversation. The only thing we want in here, I just want one thing, and that's a mother effing parade. That's all I want. I want a Broad Street again. I want to wake up at 4 a.m. to go to the train station and hike it over to Philadelphia and wait 4 hours, freezing my butt off and waiting for them to come down freaking near City Hall. I sat in both of the same spots for both parades. Somehow I magically went to the same spot when the Eagles won that I did in 2008 when the Phillies won. That's all I want. That's all we want. Any logical Eagle fan wants one thing, and that's a Super Bowl. The problem is with a certain radio station that covers the team. Do you know what their problem is? And tell me if you agree with me. They want to be bigger of a talking point than the teams they're supposed to be covering.
Yep.
That's their problem. They want to be bigger than the Eagles. That's what their problem is, I think.
I just
exactly.
I see something too. I want to go reply to a comment real fast. Your guy's buddy over there, Anthony.
Oh, here we go with this crap again.
It's not that he can't throw for 20 yards. It's that we didn't need him to do it.
Yeah. Because, I mean, there's a big difference between not being able to throw for 200 yards and it just not working into the game plan. A quarterback I can think off immediately at the top of my head that can't throw for over 200 yards in some games, Anthony Richardson.
Yep.
I mean, do we want to talk about Russell Wilson's performance? 14 for 22, 128 yards. He was the only person moving the ball down the field. He was the only reason they had 13 points.
That's what
Not
I'm
going to
saying.
talk about that though.
He's saying he can't throw for 2. No, he can. He has. He did yesterday. What do you call that yesterday?
Yeah, he's done it multiple times this year. Multiple times last year. Year before that.
Bruiser, you can think that's going to happen. This team's too damn talented to get bounced in the division around, and the numbers don't lie. That Sirianni's a good coach.
Listen, I know we're Eagles fans. Let's put a bias to a side for a second and look at the bigger picture. Who in the NFC that we have to play in the divisional round can actually match up with us?
Who would we play in the divisional round?
I don't know. I know right now, first round right now will be Washington.
We've seen, that's not happening. It'll be tough because it'll be the third time they play us this year.
Yeah.
But no.
No,
Anthony,
but you was referring to Hurts.
Anthony, your comment was towards Hurts.
We was talking about Hurts and you made that comment.
Which, by the way, barely throw over for 200 yards. Well, yesterday he threw for 295. So he can throw for 200 yards.
Dun, 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 dun.
Situational football. They can get it done however they need to.
Yeah, like Sirianni said, wants to run, we could run. Wants to pass, we could pass.
Exactly. Like, I don't understand what the problem here is. But anyway, we've been on this now for over almost an hour and 20 minutes. And Bruiser, I'm not disagreeing with that. But to be fair, we haven't beaten them twice yet. We still got to beat them on Sunday. And it's going to be tough. It's in Landover. They always give us a problem.
2022?
That was Daniel Jones. Come on.
I know. I said let's do the Giants.
Oh, I said unless. My bad. But yeah, it is hard. And we'll have to see what happens. Whatever happens, happens. But now, honestly, is there really anything else around the NFL that we have to really talk about? I think the two big topics were the Lions and the Eagles, and I think we basically covered both of them.
Pretty much.
The only thing I will say is that I can't believe that the Denver Broncos defense is as legit as they've been. They're playing out of their freaking minds. And also, I will say this. I know their record's better. In terms of teams coming to Philly, I'm not afraid of Tampa Bay. It's nice to play. Because guess what, Tampa? We're not coming down to Tampa Bay and winning that game. We're not coming down to Tampa Bay this time.
Tell that to Brian because he's scared of that game.
Whatever.
This time it'd be a little bit different with the fully
It'll be a
healthy
little cold
offense.
up here. Minnesota would give us a run, but I'm not too afraid of them. I'm just saying, dude, Green Bay's playing some really good football because they've actually adapted the Eagles' motto. They saw that Jordan Love was being erratic as hell with the football all season, and now they're using Josh Jacobs more. It's almost like all these teams are following a model that my team has come up with, huh? It's almost like it works. It's almost like the ground and pound style of the NFL is coming back into popularity almost.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say one thing before we go to this topic. I am not scared of one team in the NFC.
I'm not either. I'll play anybody. And if we lose, we lose. But as it's sitting here right now, I ain't afraid of nobody.
Just know we're not. If we lose, we lose. But just know we're not going to get blown out by nobody.
Nope.
Damn it, Anthony.
If they go down, it's going to be
dog fight.
Tough, close loss that comes down to the last second on the clock. That's the only way I see them getting beat.
Yep.
So we don't want to talk about the Jets and Jags game?
Is that something you dreamt about? Did that game actually happen?
Or can we talk about how Mike McDaniel can't beat good teams?
Oh.
I can't stand that guy. He just his appearance irks me. He's like a little kid.
He's got a terrible record against teams with are above 500. He's like 3-12 or something.
He's so cocky.
And still, once again, the Texans still didn't look like a team that I don't know what they do well. I still don't know what the Houston Texans do well.
Win their division. That's about it.
Like CJ Stroud, 18-26, 131, 2 touchdowns. Like, that's fine, but I mean, this is a team that we thought could, with all that talent, could compete with the Chiefs. Now, granted, the Chiefs ain't playing much better, but like they've looked off all year. It's all looked off all year with Houston. I don't know what happened.
Can we stop giving Tua a pass now?
Yeah.
No more. What did we say 2 years ago when he got Tyreek Hill, when we got AJ Brown? We said same about him and Hurts. If they cannot succeed with these players around them, they're not going to be good quarterbacks. Jalen has succeeded. He has not.
The only thing that sucks for me to say that is because Tua, up until yesterday, actually have been playing some really good football. And once again, yesterday, what do I see him doing? Diving head first. He will never understand what he's doing. What's going to happen to him?
No. Nope.
Nope.
No, because that was early in the year.
God.
That was
we forget
week 4 when the defense was playing like crap. It was in Tampa Bay. This time they have to come to a cold Philly.
Don't forget, we didn't have any wide receivers either.
Nope, we had nothing.
And they also chose to not overuse Barkley that early in the season because, they wanted to use him for the long haul, which has worked out pretty damn well. But guess what? If it comes down to it this time around in the playoffs, you best believe he's touching the ball 30-plus times.
And I'm going to say it again for everybody here. They're coming to the link this time. Not going out there. They're coming to Philly.
We're pretty cold here.
Yeah, and let's also look at this as well. They got Mike Evans back finally. Who else they got? Cade Otton.
They have that rookie McMillan. He's decent, but I ain't worried about with the secondary.
I'm not worried about no rookie.
It's a whole different defense.
Oh, yeah. Everything's different since week 4. But one last thing. Speaking of week 4, you want to know who the 2 highest graded linebackers are in the NFL since week 4?
Nakobe Dean and Zach Bond.
That screams better. Where's Fred? Haven't heard Fred's name yet.
I told you Zach Bond took over him as the highest ranked linebacker in football.
This year, yeah. Zach Bond he's playing like the best linebacker in football right now.
Exactly. I'm not saying longevity. No one said that. I said this year.
Yeah, you have to admit it.
Yeah, like it's just the numbers show it. Every grade shows it. But anyway, so there really isn't much NFL wise to talk about for the rest of the night, is there? We've covered a pretty decent amount of the top two teams in the NFC. The AFC is basically all set in stone. Georgie, tell Bryce we said congratulations. Damn,
Man,
that's a murder.
30-point win.
That looks like one of my YMCA games. And I was not on the receiving the good end of that. But all right.
Say I was getting 25 dropped on him.
Dropped on him, got a shot blocked up into the track. We won't talk about those old days, okay? We don't want to talk about the old days.
1.2 points per game, Sam average.
Oh,
Hey, man, them 1.2 points, man. I was out there. I was out there. But all right, Tyler, would you like to pull up the college football playoff bracket?
no.
Okay, well then, I guess we're going to be just three guys sitting here talking about nothing. So
Pretty
look,
much. That sounds good.
Look, we're going to be recapping this for the next couple weeks anyway. I figured we would try to give out our full prediction for the whole playoff. We're all going to be wrong in some way. But, two of us have college football teams in this. Tyler, I don't even think you have a college team.
I don't
Tyler,
really
you
have
complete.
a team.
You are one completely mute.
Tyler, your mic cut out. Say that again.
Oh, hold on.
Maybe because he's.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Oh, you came back. You just got to repeat what you said. You came back after. It's just.
Oh, I've always had a liking for the Texas Longhorns, but I don't really follow or claim any one team.
Fair enough.
Yeah, all right, Matt. All right.
But yeah, so for the rest of the show, it's going to be heavy college football. We're going to be talking the college football playoff now. Then we're going to go into the Heisman race, which that should brew up some nice conversation. And then, of course, we got to give our thoughts on Bill Belichick, of course, heading over to college football, which I still find is not very shocking. Some people think it is, but we're going to have to just wait and see about that. Do you have the? There we go. All right. So here we are. Our lovely bracket. And Tyler, thank you, because now Bruiser's happy, because Bruiser is a Texas Longhorns fan. All right, so here we go. We got SMU versus Penn State. Winner goes on to play Boise. Notre Dame and Indiana. Winner goes on to play Georgia. Tennessee and Ohio State. Winner goes on to play Oregon. And then, of course, you got Texas and Clemson. Winner goes on to play Arizona State. Gentlemen, who would like to start this off? Now, look, we're going the whole thing. So it ain't a first round prediction. We're doing all the way up to the national title winner. So who would like to go first?
Man, I just want to start by saying I am very sorry for Penn State. You are going to have an angry bull going. If you beat SMU, which you should beat SMU, you're going to have an angry man.
Here's the problem. Their spread offense scares the hell out of me because they run a lot of spread like Oregon, and we did not match up well with that whatsoever.
Hypothetically, you get past them, right? You go see the true Heisman winner.
Don't spoil the rest of the show, damn it.
If you guys see them in that next round, he's gonna put up 200 on you. It's gonna happen. Because
puts up 200 on every.
Their passing offense ain't it. It's Ashton John tier bust for that offense. If they're playing a really bad team, yeah, the offense, the passing game could look pretty solid, but
here's the
bold take.
The key for Penn State. You know how you keep Ashton Genty on the sideline?
You run the football yourself.
Exactly. Don't act like Penn State can't run the football. We can run the football.
That's how you keep Genty off the field. Excited to see him putting up 200 on the ground against Penn State would be the final thing that, like, yes, this kid can play against big teams. I already saw him do it earlier in the season against Oregon. They lost a close game to him. But to see him do it in a college football playoff game against Penn State, a good defense in Penn State, that would solidify it and be like, okay, this kid's ready.
First of all, I want Anthony to point out where my offense isn't good since it took them 45 points to beat us since we scored 37. So I want to know where my offense isn't good. No, my offense actually is very good. We have a really good, for the first time in Franklin's tenure, we have a really good offensive line in back-to-back years. Drew Aller is the best quarterback we've had since Kerry Collins. There's a name for you. We have two capable NFL running backs. Not saying they're starters, but Singleton and Katron Allen will be in the NFL one day. And we have the best tight end in college football. The biggest problem with Penn State and what cost them in that game with Oregon, they ain't got a wide receiver to save their lives. Their best one is Trey Wallace, and he's a number 2 on a better team. He's the number 3 probably on most of the teams in this damn bracket. Julian Fleming can't hang on to the football to save his life since the USC game. I don't know who's after that. We run our offense through our tight ends because we have Luke Reynolds, who's behind Tyler Warren, who will be the tight end one next year, and he's going to be a damn good one probably. Go ask every other tight end that goes to Penn State. Penn State will have to win if the Penn State wants any chance at winning a national title, it has to come between operating through Tyler Warren and that run game because I don't trust any of these wide receivers. You just got to hope maybe one time they could break one downfield, which Trey Wallace has done a few times this year, but it's just their defense has got to be so much better than they were against Oregon. They had to be so much better.
Penn State is literally just like one star receiver away from probably being one of the teams to beat in the country.
Yes, that's all they need. They just need to get a wide receiver. They better use whatever NIL money they have and go into that portal and grab some because they need wide receivers.
Yeah. Keep an eye out if any Bama receivers are looking for an out.
That's what I'm saying. What's Ryan Williams up to? Is he staying there?
Ooh, man.
That's wishful thinking. I'm just making jokes at this point. But, all right, who would like to start this off with their predictions?
Nobody.
I'll go
show's over.
Yeah, right.
Show's over.
Everybody jump all at once here, guys.
Let's go. Let's start on the left-hand side. Let's start with Texas and Ohio State.
Okay. Tennessee, Ohio State.
You mean that's Tennessee.
Tennessee, I'm sorry, my bad.
I've done that my whole life.
Clemson's going to get absolutely smashed by Texas.
I'll be honest, I don't see Clemson having much of a chance.
No.
I get it. When Texas plays Georgia, they don't look too hot. I get that. But everyone else they go up against, they handle them. So I think it's going to be no different. I see Texas just going straight through.
So it's going to be Texas.
Until continue, Matt.
Who's that? Arizona State, right?
Yeah, Arizona State.
So we got Texas, Arizona State, Tennessee, Ohio State. I think Tennessee pulls it off.
Against Ohio State? Ooh.
Yes.
Tennessee's got a really good team. They do.
Tennessee, I'll tell you right now, and I'm telling Anthony this, and he's not going to like it. Oregon does not want Tennessee to win that football game.
No. Nope.
Because I will tell you right now, Anthony, let me explain this real quick. You have one of the best teams in the country. But as bad as you're saying my offense was, I had 3 guys averaging 10 yards a carry against Oregon's defense.
Yep.
And Tennessee runs the football like grown men. They would much rather go against Ohio State again, trust me.
And we can bounce over to the right-hand side. Notre Dame, Indiana.
Indiana
completely sucks against the run.
Mm-hmm.
We are one of the best run offenses in the country. Notre Dame bounces them. I got them 30-24. I think Penn State absolutely slackles this team, SMU.
I don't see them struggling against SMU. I get it. SMU,
up with them
they deserve to be in there, but I don't see SMU beating Penn State.
It's James Franklin in a big game.
Penn and Boise State, Notre Dame, Georgia. Tennessee, Oregon, Arizona State, Texas. I think Texas just slaughters Arizona State.
I think so too.
Tennessee shocks and beats Oregon.
Ooh.
I think
That
Tennessee
is
has too much
upset.
of a complete offense for Oregon to handle. That's my opinion. I think they win by a walk-off field goal.
Walk-off field goal. Oh, man.
That's what I think. I think it's going to be a 34-31 game. They have too much.
Okay.
They're such a good running team. Like Sam said, Penn State ran all over them.
Yeah.
They can run. They have better running game than Penn State.
Yeah. I think they have a better O-line.
Penn State, Boise State, Jetney goes off. Penn State pulls it out.
I hate my bracket.
Penn State stays, and they bounce to the next round. Notre Dame pulls upset on Georgia.
Oh, man. Notre Dame with an upset against Georgia?
Why? Because I had
Georgia's offense stinks.
Yeah, thank you.
They do.
It's not because I'm a Notre Dame fan. Put that to the side. I'm not biased.
Is what's his name going to be healthy?
I don't think so.
Play?
I don't think Beck's
No.
healthy.
I think it's better off if Beck doesn't play, I'll be honest. I think their offense is better without him.
Notre Dame would actually probably prefer Beck to play, so
I'd give Notre Dame a better chance if Beck was playing. I'll be honest.
that's what I'm saying.
I'm
looking at it right now.
Because think about it, with how well that kid played when he stepped in for him in the the SEC championship game, you add in a player who you're not going to have much tape on, not much film to go on. It could surprise you.
So I just checked. Carson Beck this was as of last week. He has no timetable for his return, so he is not playing.
He's not playing.
Bruce, there's no way Indiana beat Notre Dame. They just not.
Hey, I'll just say never say never.
I will say that never. That's why I keep saying, like, people are like, Bruce is the only one that'll keep it real with Penn State. I understand that people think Penn State's going to shellac SMU, but this is what James Franklin does to you. He gets you thinking that, and then somehow he'll find a way to lose. Remember this. I've been watching this for a decade.
So now we got Texas. They just run through Tennessee.
Ooh, run through Tennessee.
They just run through them. Yeah. I don't see nobody really stopping Texas. I'm sorry.
The only team that Texas doesn't want to see is Georgia. And that's because Georgia just has their number. That's it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I got Texas in the championship. So now we got Notre Dame, Penn State.
Sure.
This is a tough one. This is very tough. I don't know. I want Notre Dame to win. I have a feeling Penn State's going to take it. I have Texas, Penn State, and Texas is slaughtering whoever. Even if Notre Dame went in there, Texas is slaughtering whoever goes.
Texas winning the whole thing.
I got Texas winning the whole thing.
Really?
Okay.
That would be quite the shocking turn of events. With how they got whooped by Georgia the first time around earlier in the year. They lose a tough overtime loss to them in the SEC championship. Get knocked out of that first round bye. And then to be able to come back, fight through that bracket, which honestly, they're on a favorable end of the bracket. Clemson, then Arizona State. Now, granted, they're two capable teams. I don't see them blowing either of them out. But anything could happen. But they're in a favorable position to get themselves into that last four teams in.
Yep.
Just saying now, if Texas does win this whole thing, Quinn Ewers is easily going top something. Or is Quinn Ewers not coming out this year? Because I'm hearing he has offers from a Big Ten team to come over there.
He's not a senior. He's only a junior this year.
I heard a Big Ten team is offering him some NIL to come over there. So
I know we had people in the comments saying that he was a senior, but even on University of Texas's website, he's listed as a junior.
Yes, I don't know.
Who knows? I don't know either. All right. So, Tyler, do you want to go next? You want me to go next?
I'll go next real quick. All right. So I'm going to start off with that top left. Give me Tennessee over Ohio State. I think
Okay.
Tennessee is going to shock some people.
All right.
Then going down, give me Texas over Clemson. Give me Notre
Okay.
Dame over Indiana. And
Okay.
I'm taking Penn State over SMU. Now this
It
is
was a
where it
fun
gets
ride.
a little tricky.
No, it doesn't.
You're right, it doesn't get that tricky yet.
Well, all right, hold on. It
I
doesn't get
think,
tricky on the right side to me.
yeah. On the left side, it's tough. I still think Oregon's played well enough to still be viewed as the top team in the nation and to make a further run in than to getting stopped by Tennessee. I think it'll be a close game. Give me Oregon taking down Tennessee to move on. Give me
Okay,
Texas
Tyler.
Longhorns.
So hold on. Bruiser is giving you some help here. Here is
Okay.
what.
That's what I had thought because I know he did originally start out his career somewhere different. So, yeah, eligibility wise, he's technically a junior. I get that academically he's
Yep.
in his senior year.
Real quickly, Bruiser, I just want your opinion on this because you're clearly you're a Longhorns guy. There's the rumor of a Big Ten team is really trying to get him to transfer to there. If you had to guess, who do you think that Big Ten team would be? Because I can tell you who I think it is.
Not Michigan because
No, they just got that. They
yeah,
got the 5-star kid. No, I know. I know who it is.
Ohio State.
No, they got Will Howard.
Nah.
I think there's a guy in Southern California that's feeling some pressure by
Mm,
the name of Lincoln Riley.
I can see that.
Remember, Moss already hit the portal. So Georgie says Michigan State. That would be
Ooh.
something.
I don't see Michigan State being lucrative enough for him because here's the thing, right?
They have been
Depending on
relevant in years.
how Texas's performance plays out in the playoffs, Ewers could make a solid case for him to get himself drafted this year, or at least set himself up to go to another team that's going to compete. Michigan State, I'm sorry, if they got Quinn Ewers, they're still not competing for anything
Nope.
in the Big Ten.
Uh,
It's not going to happen, and that's a terrible thing to do for your last year of eligibility. Terrible decision.
Here's Bruiser's what
Purdue,
he's thinking. He's thinking either
that's a terrible decision as
MSU,
well.
That's
Washington,
Purdue.
Washington, maybe. I mean, Washington lost a lot of pieces that made them good.
Yep.
Oh God, they lost their whole team.
They have to go to a So you said a Big Ten team, right? Do we
Yeah.
know if Dylan Gabriel's going to go to the draft this year, or is he going to stay at Oregon?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure is. I forget what.
He's
I mean, he
probably
was behind
eligible.
He was behind Bo Nix last year, so
Let me see.
I could see Michigan State though. Maybe they're getting really sick and tired of being little brother to Michigan. Maybe they're getting tired of not getting respected. They really haven't been relevant since they had. Here's the name for you, Connor Cook. Anybody?
Oh gosh. So Dylan Gabriel could declare for the draft. Not
Which
sure if
if
he's
I
going
think
to.
which if he does, he's easily the QB3 in this draft.
Yeah.
And
So if he declares for
he's
the
probably
draft,
more of the two.
maybe Ewers makes a move over to Oregon.
Can you imagine that going from Nix to freaking Gabriel to Ewers? That'd be insane.
Yeah. But then again, you're only going to have him for a year. So then you're back to the drawing board
Exactly.
after that. Ewers to Maryland. It's a lock. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Oregon's Penn State landed a 4-star recruit from somewhere. I forget where, and we're trying to land another defensive lineman. Which, if he's anything like the last guy, he'll be wearing 11 soon.
All right. Back to my bracket.
Anyway,
So give me Texas over Arizona State University.
okay.
That's gonna, and then all right to the right side. We'd have Notre Dame versus Georgia. I'm sorry, I gotta rock with Georgia. Their defense is really good. And offensively, I think just the fact of having that young kid in at quarterback is just going to stir some things up that Notre Dame might not be prepared for. And I think it might throw them off. So I'm taking Georgia there. And with Boise State, Penn State, I agree with you, Matt. Jonty's going off. But it's gonna be a close loss. I think Penn State will edge them out by at least a touchdown or so.
No one could honestly put either of these teams in a good topic for the Big Ten next year if he went there, especially
Yeah.
Wisconsin.
I can see it, Wisconsin. Yeah, I could definitely see that. So, my last four remaining teams would be Oregon, Texas, Georgia, Penn State. Honestly, give me Texas over Oregon. I feel like somehow they'll find a way to get it done. And I'm sorry, I think Georgia rolls in. They roll in past Penn State. So
Wait, I'm
looking at
sorry. Oh, you have wait. I'm sorry. I must have missed this because I was looking at Bruiser's comment. You have Penn State beating Boise State.
yeah, yeah. I
Okay.
said by at least a touchdown.
All right. You must not have
Maybe
realized it.
maybe less. But same. All they have to do is try to do enough to, like you said, manage the game, keep Jonty off the field. All right, they got to run the football. Penn State's got to run the football well against them, and they have something that Boise State doesn't have. They have a capable quarterback, and they have an NFL ready tight end. They got enough to be able to do it, to get it done.
Matt is apparently stuck on mute. He said.
Oh my, I have no idea.
I was saying there should
Oh
literally be
god.
a mic button right there, and it should be able to just freaking unmute it if there's anything there.
If not, you possibly could have muted it from your laptop keyboard.
Weird. Tyler, continue your
Back on Penn
predictions here.
State, Boise State. Yeah, that's my thought process. I think they have enough to get it done. It's going to be a tough game for them, though. So I'm realistically looking at it's coming down to, for the third time this year, Texas versus Georgia. And let me just tell you something. Texas, they're not going to go down 3 times in a row. They're going to get their revenge this time. They lost the SEC championship, but guess what? Only one thing that's more important than that title: the college football championship. Give me
Sorry.
Texas beating Georgia in a rematch to start an amazing SEC rivalry against them.
Starting the SEC rivalry with this.
Hold on, let me try something else.
Okay.
Wait, that would just take his camera off.
I'm agreeing with Georgia.
Try backing out of the stream and coming back in, or just refresh.
Yeah, let's try that. Yeah. I'm honestly in agreement with George and him saying George was a bunch of frauds because I'm not really a big I'm not big on Georgia. And then Bruiser is saying that the worst national championship game would be Texas and Georgia. I agree. I don't think the SEC
I do agree as well. The reason I would agree with that is because we've seen it twice already. We don't want to see it again. We want to see some matchup we've never seen yet.
I'm tired of Georgia.
I would honestly love to see Notre Dame make it all the way to the championship game. I think it'd be a great game, even if it's Oregon versus Notre Dame or Texas versus Notre Dame. It'd be great. There's a lot of good possibilities here. Oh, still can't
He's
hear.
still muted.
Oh no. Oh
But
no.
I'm disagreeing, Bruiser. I think George is a bunch of frauds.
Hello?
I don't trust him.
Oh,
There
he
you
is.
go. You fixed it.
Okay.
He fixed it.
All right. So, I guess I'm jumping. Is it my turn? I guess now.
Yep. All right, Sam. I already know how this is gonna go. Penn State all the way.
Even though Penn State's beating SMU, okay. All right. So I'll start on the left hand side. I had Tennessee beating Ohio State. Ryan Day's getting fired. Chip Kelly's becoming the new coach. Have fun with that.
Oh, joy.
But anyway, I think that's what Chip Kelly was hired for a reason.
Ooh. So for
Just remember that.
comments real quick.
There's only one team on here that's 5-0 against ranked teams, Oregon Ducks. We might not have a defense, but nobody can score. I am not disagreeing with that. The
And
best national championship game, that would be.
Hey, we want 4-0 against ranked teams.
I want to go back real quick. Give me one moment here. All right, so he mentions Oregon versus Boise State, right? The last time that these teams faced each other was September 7th, week 2 of the season. Oregon beat them 37-34. They gave up 192 yards and 3 rushing touchdowns to Ashton Janti. That would be a heck of a rematch, a heck of a game to watch. Because you look at these two teams, you don't put Oregon and Boise State in the same weight class. But it's just the fact of them having the real Heisman on that team that brings them to another level.
Okay.
That'd be great if we saw that. Or even Boise State, Tennessee. And continue on, Sam.
I wouldn't mind that either. And George is saying that Kelly could also get fired because the offense sucks. Yes, but I honestly, I still think there's a chance that he takes it over for him. But I have Tennessee beating Ohio State. I think Tennessee's run game is too physical and too powerful for Ohio State to stop. We saw what Michigan did to them, and Michigan, all they do is run the football. And I don't trust Ohio State and Ryan Day. So I have Tennessee going against Oregon. Down at the bottom, I have Texas beating Clemson. I don't think Clemson really has enough to compete with Texas. So I have Texas moving on to Arizona State. I'm just going to go from side to side. I'm going to make this real quick. So then we have Tennessee and Oregon. I don't like the matchup because of Tennessee's run game, but I am going to agree with Anthony on one thing, and that is that damn Ducks offense scores on anybody. And I'm going to go with Oregon to beat Tennessee. Moving on next, I have Texas beating Arizona State. I don't buy the Arizona State hype whatsoever. Hey, there he is. There's the number one Reed Blankenship fan. What's up, Dennis? And I like this quote from Bruiser that Boise State is ollie against Oregon's form. I like that. All right, so I had Oregon beating Tennessee, and then I have Texas beating Arizona State. So that sets up Oregon versus Texas. I think Texas's defense has played a lot better than they get credit to. But unfortunately, Twin yours, we saw this in the Big Ten. Dennis, all I'm going to rebut to this is your guy knocked himself out the first freaking play of the game. Literally knocked himself out.
What?
On the first play of the game.
So guess what? We have two different safeties we have different opinions on. They both knock themselves out.
Yep.
And even CJ does too. So all three of them do.
We got safeties with problems, okay?
And
they're
not in the right vicinity to be able to knock himself out. So there's that. All right.
Well, McCollum stinks, so
here we are.
Oh, Anthony, Indiana is not TCU. That's an insult to TCU.
Oh man.
They complained about, oh, we'll get no respect. Then you finally played a top team and you got your freaking ass kicked.
– Yeah, we're gonna whoop
Bruiser,
their ass.
unfortunately, I am going to agree with you. I do have Oregon beating Texas just because Quinn Ewers would have to be perfect to beat them. Their offense is no signs of shutting down. And I have Oregon advancing to the national title.
Okay.
Moving on to the right side. I have Notre Dame beating Indiana. Miss me with this whole freaking Indiana story. They're good. No, Dennis. I'm fans of good players. Your guys a good player, but you're reaching here.
He's been getting hurt a lot last couple of weeks. Just saying.
So now, here we are here. So I have Indiana losing to Notre Dame. I don't buy Indiana. I think they're still – I agree with the TCU comment. TCU still made it farther, too. Also, different format, but I still think that Indiana's not that team yet. So I have Notre Dame advancing to play Georgia. Down at the bottom, I have Penn State beating SMU, barely, squiggly, maybe a field goal, maybe a touchdown. I don't know. Penn State's going to beat SMU. It's at Penn State, whiteout game. It's going to be a good one. I do think Penn State gets at least one win in the playoff. I still think they're going to beat SMU. So now we've got Penn State, Boise State, Notre Dame, Georgia. I'm disagreeing with George. I think Georgia are a bunch of frauds offensively. I think this is a battle of the defenses. It will come down to whose offense can make a bigger play. Their head coach just got a lovely new extension. I have Notre Dame beating Georgia.
Okay.
Because I don't buy the Bulldogs hype. Yeah, it's real easy to win the SEC when it's literally played in Atlanta, Georgia. Real easy to do. So,
Okay, so
I have Notre Dame getting all the way past Georgia. Unfortunately, as much as I like to game plan against Ashton Genty and see how that goes, I do have Boise State beating Penn State. And then, unfortunately, Matt, I think you have appreciated this. I like Notre Dame a lot, but damn it, I can't pick against my guy. I have Boise State beating Notre Dame. It's hard for me to do it. I can't pick against my guy that much, but I think Notre Dame has a chance to go really far in this. I don't like the Indiana. Give me a break, and I don't like Georgia matching up with Notre Dame's defense. I just don't. It's too easy. It's too physical of a battle.
Georgia, I love that comment. He got Notre Dame shocking the world. Look at that.
As he beats both Big Ten teams, Georgia frauds lose to Notre Dame. Penn State loses to Notre Dame as well. Texas loses to Tennessee. Tennessee versus Notre Dame. Damn. And then Anthony says, if SMU beats Penn State by 10, you have to wear a Washington shirt and I'll buy it and you wear it on the show. Hell no. That has nothing to do with that. Hell no.
I have a quick side note real quick. If anyone hasn't checked it out, the Vikings all-white unis are looking pretty clean. Until they hit the field, that is. But
Until we hit the field. All right, so that sets up Boise State versus Oregon in the national title. I'm going with the pick of the century. Because guess what? He ain't going to need a Heisman. He is going to have a natty. I got Boise State winning the whole thing.
Ooh. Boise State winning the whole dang thing?
Sam, you drunk?
Oh, Sam. I mean, you know how much I've been clamoring over Ashton Johnson and Boise State all year. But
Georgia says Notre Dame shocking the world. I got Boise State shocking the world.
All right. Fair enough.
What is all right, so look, between you, me, Matt, Bruiser, and George, what do we all have in common right now? We're all going to be wrong about something in this bracket.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I'm going to be wrong about Penn State beating Notre Dame. Notre Dame's going to beat Penn State.
This bracket's harder to pick than March Madness.
Yeah, we're not getting to you guys, so it doesn't matter.
I'm telling you, it's going to be Notre Dame and Penn State. I'm telling you.
Matt, if we get to Notre Dame, we held Genty to like 30 yards.
No, you held them to a very low 120.
A very low 120.
Yes,
I
yeah.
don't trust them. I
That's
do
a
not.
bad game for him.
I don't trust Boise
120.
State.
I
Granted,
do.
Jenny, I get it. I don't trust that team all the way. I just can't. I just don't.
I agree. I don't either because aside from the run game, their pass game is just not there
It's not at all.
at all. I don't think they can
So
hang with a big team like granted, the week 2 of their season they hung with Oregon. It was led by an amazing performance by Jonte on the ground. You didn't see that pass game going off to keep them in that.
true.
I just do want to say one thing though. With this bracket, Penn State should not have been over Notre Dame. Should not have been higher than them. Because we should have been ranked above y'all.
See, the problem with that is, and what really killed Notre Dame this year was that early loss earlier in the season to an unranked team. That's what killed them. That's the only thing that killed them.
Yep.
The only thing is why I say that we should have been over you guys because we beat ranked teams. You guys didn't beat no ranked teams.
Yes, we did. We beat Illinois.
Okay. All right. Okay.
And again, the only loss was again to Ohio State, which Penn State kind of gets a bye for that sometimes. It's like the only loss we have is Ohio State. Like that's the thing. And look, Matt and I are going to agree because Notre Dame's been the victim of this too. I don't understand teams getting penalized for taking care of business. And even though they weren't ranked, the USC win was pretty damn impressive too. Because I don't care if USC wasn't ranked or not. They lose that game every year for the last 6.
Yep.
They do. Penn State did better this year than they've done in years past. But like I said, that's why I'm not sitting up here saying this team's going to win. You guys are talking Notre Dame, Penn State. They've got to beat SMU. I don't trust the guy coaching still. Now, granted, he coached better against Oregon than he did Ohio State. But he was too late. He waited too.
Hold on, Houston. Bruiser, stop with the conference stuff. That has to stop because that hasn't. They're not joining conference. They have so much money. They have so much money with NBC and everything to be independent. That's why they won't do it. All that money they have with NBC to do their games. That's why they won't join conference. They have all that money with them. And can you blame them?
Anthony, and real quick, let me get to Anthony's comment. Anthony, we lost to those teams by a combined of 16 points. We lost by 8 both times. But again, these brackets have been coming out for the past month. So this was going on before we even played Oregon in the Big Ten game.
Yeah.
So this goes beyond just losing to Oregon, which, again, if you thought Penn State was beating Oregon, you were on drugs. Like, you were. Penn State was never going to be able to compete with that offense.
I just want to say one more thing about conference. When people say they should join a conference because look who they play. But people act like Alabama and Georgia, and they play all top teams every game. They don't. They play these bum teams.
Yes, but the problem is, though, they are still in the SEC.
Right.
They still will play. They will still play Georgia. They will still play Texas. That's the problem.
That's it. But we still play top teams, though.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying that's how they are viewing it.
Right,
that's what I'm saying. I'm not disagreeing. Look, Notre Dame's a legit team. I'm not saying that.
That's how they view it. You're right. That's how they view it. But I'm saying, people like that, like the committee, they think like Alabama, and they play Georgia, and then they play next week. They play Penn State, and the next week they play Texas, and next week they play Ohio State, and the next week they play Oregon. No, they play one team. One good team, they play shitty teams like 4 weeks in a row. They'll play a good team. They'll play a shitty team 2 weeks in a row. They'll play a good team.
Now, here's the thing. Because what I hate about when they say ranked teams, they don't count if the team was ranked 1 week and not ranked at the end of the season. That's what I hate. But correct me if I'm wrong. Notre Dame on week 1 beat A&M. A&M was a ranked team.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
When they beat Louisville, I'm pretty sure Louisville was a ranked team on September the 28th.
Yes,
I'm pretty sure Louisville was in the top 25.
Yes, they were.
Oh, wait, Sam, I could let you know, actually. ESPN, on their schedule, does actually tell them what they were ranked when they were beaten. So Texas A&M was ranked 20th when they beat them, beginning of the season.
Okay.
Louisville was ranked 15th when they beat them.
Was
Navy was
Navy
ranked
ranked?
24th. They were.
Yes, yes,
And
they were.
Army was ranked 19th. So they have 4 ranked wins.
Yeah, they have 4 ranked wins, and A&M's a pretty good damn team last time I
And
checked.
A&M, when we beat them, we in the first loss. The first game of the year, we beat them on the road, pretty good, pretty soundly, and they went and ran off like 10 straight, 11, like 9, 10 wins in a row before they got beat again.
Auburn of all teams.
Yeah. So
Welcome to college football.
Bruce, what was Notre Dame's signature win this year? Was probably A&M on the road.
Yeah, I'll say that. But then again, but the problem was it's the one loss. That's a bad
Right.
loss.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm not looking at that loss. But
Northern
it happens.
Illinois.
It happens to teams all the time.
Yeah, well, that was like people are like, but that's what I hate about things with Notre Dame and with Penn State. They're talking about, oh, Penn State's only played Illinois, and the only other ranked team they lost to before conference play was Ohio State. So I'm getting penalized because my team did their job.
And
But that's what we're basically penalizing. But notice, and screw the committee for putting Alabama a few weeks ago before all this at 13 just to try to sneak them in there again. Because they did. Don't lie to me. They tried to sneak their boys in there.
well, Sam, no. Just until 2 weeks ago, they had Alabama at 11. Remember that. They had them in.
Yeah.
I know, but when they dropped them back after their, third loss of the season, they were
Mhm.
13th. They kept them
They
in
were
there
right on
enough
the
to
outside.
almost sneak them in there.
And
Mhm.
well, after Notre Dame, that was a bad loss. Yes, it was. But what did they do after that? They whooped every single team they played.
And even you guys had a little bit of a tough time with USC.
Yeah.
USC's, last time I checked, Lincoln Riley coach teams are pretty good.
We always have a problem with them. Doesn't matter.
Who's Lincoln Riley trying to get in the portal because he needs a quarterback?
We always have a
And
problem with
yours.
them. It never fails. Every
I'm
single year.
telling you. I would not be surprised if Quinn Ewers goes to USC. I'm telling you. Okay, no. See, now we're moving the goalpost. First it was a ranked team. Now it's a top 15 team. Now we're just moving goalposts here.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you.
Now look, I agree and disagree with him. I agree with him about where they're ranked. I don't see an issue with it. Penn State, Notre Dame, whatever. You could go either
Yes,
way.
whatever.
I
It
don't
doesn't
have an
matter.
issue. But the problem here is, and this is not first of all, can I say one thing? I'm not a Notre Dame fan for the life of me. I'm a Penn State fan. But I'm saying this for Penn State. I'm saying this for freaking Notre Dame. And I'm even saying it for Florida State last year. Why are teams penalized because they beat the teams they're supposed to? Meanwhile, Alabama plays the Citadel 3 times a year. Ohio State plays freaking like Jack Crombie State 6 times a year. They're the best teams in the country, though, right?
They play Chattanooga and all that.
What did I say? Jackson Crombie State? What the hell did
Jackson
I say?
Pryor. Yeah, I thought you were talking about Abercrombie, man.
That's what I'm saying. We're never going to win. We're not in the conference. We're never going to win.
No.
So
Matt, listen, let's just go this with college football. If you ain't Georgia, Bama, Ohio State, they don't give a shit about you.
nope.
And I'm sorry about Texas and Oregon fans. They don't care about you either.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Matt, I will say the one thing that Bruiser's trying to say, and Anthony, is because if you played in a conference and you went up against those teams, and if you beat those teams, it helps your case. Joining a conference may help them in the long run. I get what you're saying. You still take care of your business, but, like, that's where we're at. Like, we play in the Big Ten. I got to go through Ohio State. I got to go through Oregon. If I beat both those teams in a year, which we probably never will, we're the best team in the country. I don't care about Bama and Georgia. We're the best team in the country if we do that. That's unfortunately how they look at this. Ugh.
It is what it is. Like I said, people say how they feel is whatever. Notre Dame will never get respect. Penn State will never get respect. Florida State will never get respect. That's how it is.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Georgia's quarterback got hurt like Florida State's did, and I don't see really much backlash on that. Because I was told last year they weren't in because Jordan Travis was hurt. That's what I was told. Now, granted, it's a little different format. 12 teams to 4. I get it. But anyway, Bruiser, I'm going to have to schedule you on here one day. and we will gladly get into. I will have you on before the national title. We'll have to make that. I'll shoot you a message one week, and we'll get you on here before the national title because I think that would be a great time to have you on the show. But we'll make that work. Alex talking about the Hurricanes. I think the Hurricanes got snubbed a lot this year too, but they had some bad losses late.
Yeah, yep. Them losses late.
And even some of those close wins where they had to come back, like they shouldn't have been in that position.
I just couldn't believe they really tried to put Alabama in there, though.
No, they tried. They tried everything possible to keep Alabama in this thing.
They still tried to put them in there.
Mm-hmm.
Anthony, leave me alone, okay? You got the Big Ten title, okay? Now, look, sorry that I'm going to have to get my revenge on you and take the NFC East from you, okay? I'm sorry. Leave me alone, okay? I've dealt with enough with Penn State. People think I'm not one of those blind fans. I don't think Penn State maybe wins their first game. Maybe. Okay? So leave me alone. No, Bruiser, I wasn't talking about this year. I was talking about last year when they were undefeated and what happened. And honestly, that's karma. They bitched and complained about it, and look what happened. They were ranked the first week of the season, and Georgia Tech upset them.
It wasn't Georgia. Didn't they go undefeated last year too, or have one loss and didn't get in?
No, last year they were undefeated and they lost their quarterback, and that's why people think they didn't get in because of Jordan Travis's injury. That's what they think happened.
Georgia.
Georgia had one loss, yeah.
And they didn't get in, right?
Well, Georgia did get in.
I thought Georgia didn't get in. I thought it was a big thing about that last year.
No, that's why, because Georgia got in over Florida State, and Florida State was pissed.
Yeah.
And Bruiser real quick said Bama was never going to be in it after the loss in Norman and Ohio. Bama was not they better not have. Oh, Bruiser, trust me, no one here is complaining that Alabama's not in it.
Yeah.
I just hate Alabama. But all right, Tyler, we can knock this off the screen. We've all hit our
just about
shit pretty well here. We have two more small subjects, and let's get into them. First off, Heisman Trophy. Travis Hunter wins the popularity contest. Boys, look, I don't have to say it, but I'm never going to – I don't agree with this. I'm sorry. I don't care about what he does or what he plays, or I don't care. The guy plays two positions, and he's not going to do it at the next level anyway.
Hold on, Sam. I was right. They didn't get in. Georgia didn't get in last year.
Who was in last year?
It was Michigan, Washington, Texas, and Bama.
Oh, I forgot Washington. How did I forget the team that lost the national title game?
Remember, it was like they were undefeated or defending champions. They didn't get in.
No, okay, no. What it was Georgia was like the seed. They were the first seed to not get in, and Florida State was behind them, and that's what they were pissed off about.
Yep.
Okay, that's what it was. Thanks, man. I totally forgot. It's this new seed. I'm never going to understand the new seeding anymore.
But there's talking about how are you defending champions, go undefeated, and make the playoff?
Honestly. Should we just first point out that I think this playoff format is way better?
It is. And they
can
continue to build on it, but this is already a great start.
Great. All right, gentlemen, who wants to go first on their Heisman thoughts?
Ashton Johnson was the best player in football this year.
He was robbed.
He was robbed.
I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah, I mean, what is there to defend him with anymore? All the stats are there.
Somebody, I forgot what his name was. There was another receiver who led the whole entire country in every stat, and he wasn't even there. So how did Hunter get it? How did he get it? Because he plays cornerback?
Yeah, because he plays two positions. That's literally it. That and the amount of media attention that Coach Prime has drawn to that team. I mean, I could have told you
the only reason he won.
Could have told you he was going to win it months ago.
Oh, I knew he's going to win it. I tell everybody he was going to win it.
We all knew it. Yep. Even though they say he's such a great wide receiver, he was 6th in yards. He had 1,152. That doesn't scream. That's not great. That's good.
He was robbed last year
No,
It wasn't good last year.
because he was hurt.
He was 17th in interceptions with 4. And please, Matt will agree with this because Matt's, no offense, Matt and I have, please stop trying to compare Travis Hunter to Charles Woodson when he was in Michigan. Please stop
Yeah,
it.
that has to stop.
All right, yes, he played more wide receiver. That's because Charles Woodson was such an elite damn secondary player that he didn't need to play wide receiver.
I hope he knows when this comes to NFL, he's not doing both positions.
he's not.
No, the scouts have already said they view him as an elite at one that will play some of the other. But honestly,
it's
the
going to
money's at wide receiver.
It's going to be depending on where he goes. If he goes to a team that needs a receiver, he's going to play receiver. He goes to a team that needs a corner, he's going to play corner.
Yeah. And again, let's look at this, okay? Here are the ridiculous stats that he has. So he has 1,152 yards. Well, that's 6th in the country. All right, he has 14 receiving touchdowns. That's great. I would hope you have a lot of touchdowns since you're the only guy Shedeur Sanders throws the ball to, probably because Daddy tells him to. He had 4 interceptions. 17. Oh, wow, that's real freaking impressive. I can name about 17. I can name 17 other guys that have more than that. Oh, but he played 1,356 total snaps. So congratulations. What you did with your Heisman was you got a statistic made for snaps played.
Yeah. So the Heisman's based off of most snaps played now. That's great.
And I'm sorry. Let me ask you this, right? Colorado's pretty stinking good. Like, they're a good football team, right? They got in late into the top 25. And again, this is where back to the Notre Dame Penn State. I'm not going to punish a team for taking care of business.
Right.
Let me ask you this, okay? Let's talk to the 4 finalists, right? But then I'm going to go back to a guy that was there in the voting, but not in the top 4. Is Miami this good this year without Cam Ward?
Nope.
Is Oregon 1 in the country without Dylan Gabriel?
Nope.
Or is Boise State even half as what they are without Ashton Genty?
Nope.
Okay. Is Colorado as good as they are without Shedeur Sanders?
Probably not. No.
So why the hell is the second best player on his own team the Heisman winner?
Because he plays 2 positions. That's what the media will continue to tell you, and that's going to continue to be their argument the whole time. Plays 2 positions. Everyone just thinks he's this unicorn because he can play 2 positions.
Look they label him as when he won. Not a receiver, not a cornerback. Label him as an athlete.
Athlete.
This isn't baseball.
So that's what if you look in the book now, he's listed as an athlete.
But Mac, agree with me. This is not baseball.
It's not, no.
And even Otani can't withstand that. You're going to try. What are you going to do? Play 2 positions in a contact? I'll tell you right now. If he tried to play both positions at a high level like this in the NFL, he is out of the league by 28 years old because his body can. First of all, he's a stick. First of all, you're going to have to put on a lot of weight to do this in the NFL.
Well, not that. I don't think, if I'm not mistaken, I swear the NFL got rid of that.
I don't think he's allowed to play 2 positions in the NFL.
Allowed to play position in the NFL no more. I didn't get rid of that. I
No,
could be wrong, but I swear they got rid of that both sides of the ball.
Well, I thought the Heisman meant you were the best player in 2 things: college football, which he's not, and on your team, which he's also not.
Nope.
Shedeur Sanders is the biggest reason that he is the Heisman winner, and he should probably cut half that. He should probably cut the part of the trophy for Shedeur because Shedeur should have won the damn half the Heisman. And again, he doesn't get this hype if he's not on freaking Colorado.
Oh joy!
I'm sorry. Can we just slap LeVar Ball's name on Deion Sanders? Because that's exactly who he is.
Oh man!
Trying to sit here with all these demands, and they're telling you like, "We'll choose who we play for." Deion, you're not the NFL, dude. You don't tell anyone what to do. And you know what teams will say? Okay, we ain't drafting these kids. Because first of all, I don't understand how good he thinks these 3 really like. Hunter is probably the most talented out of the 3. I don't know if Shedeur is a franchise quarterback. Shiloh stinks. Okay, I don't know why he thinks Shiloh's so damn good. Shiloh. That's why he wants Hunter, because Shiloh stinks. That's why he wants Shiloh stinks. He stinks.
Yeah.
Anthony, I don't know why Lil Wayne was there. To get Travis
no.
Hunter more votes.
Because
It's
his
a
girlfriend was a big Lil
Yep.
Wayne fan.
And which is the most absurd thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, that we let
Who
we let
cares?
these guys influence everything now. It's so sickening.
Well,
All I'm going to leave my opinion at, and I'll let, if you two want to add on some,
I'm good.
Travis Hunter was the media's Heisman. Ashton Genty is the people's Heisman.
Yep.
I got nothing else to say on that matter.
I'm
Tyler, do you have anything to add? I know you're an
Let's
Ashton
see.
Genty guy.
The Heisman, you typically the Heisman winner, right? It's almost the MVP, most valuable player to your team. You got one guy whose team made it in. That's wild, Anthony.
He's not
Yeah,
wrong.
you
He's
know
not
why?
wrong.
No,
He
you know
really is.
why? Because Dion's just waiting to see which one of them are good in the NFL, so he gets some of that bag.
Yep.
Well,
But yeah, with
So,
Ashton
wait,
Johnson,
real quickly, Tyler, let me just say this, and I don't condone this because I don't like what they say about the people in Travis Hunter's life. I think attacking someone's significant other is appropriate. Maybe she ain't the gold digger we should be worrying about.
oh no, Papa Sanders is.
Jesus God.
But yeah,
Anyway,
no,
Tyler, go
Ashton
ahead.
Johnson, he actually carried his team into national media attention because a little backstory to Boise State. They usually win their conference, the Mountain West, whatever conference it is. They usually win it. Okay, so in their conference, they're usually the team to beat. He turned them from the team to beat in their conference to a threat to the rest of the teams in college football, and actually
We got a
got them.
bye week in the playoffs.
Exactly. So you look at that, and then you look at Colorado. Oh wait, they're not in the college football playoffs. So you're telling me the best player in the nation couldn't help carry his team to be able to sneak into the college football playoffs? That's all I got to say about that.
Once again, Ashton Genty had the second greatest college football season for a running back ever. Travis Hunter had a mid-tier season for a wide receiver and an basically above average season for a defensive back.
Yeah. And
But because
people
he
just
plays two
combine them
positions,
together as one.
when they're two completely sides of the football. But
Yeah.
okay. That's okay. Nope, Matt's out of here.
Uh-oh. Matt disappeared.
He'll be back. But yeah, I'm done with this Heisman talk. I can't stand it. I think this is ridiculous. I think this may be the biggest heist of a century. And Matt's laptop apparently died.
Oh, no.
All right, so if he does, all right, well, I mean, if he comes back on his phone or something, we only got a little bit left anyway. So we really only have one topic left, and that is to move over to North Carolina for a sec, Tyler. They're making some news in the media. Bill Belichick heading to college.
Yep.
What are your
Honestly, very
thoughts?
surprised. I thought he would have stayed in the NFL because there's going to be a plethora of coaching jobs opening up there. Honestly, one team I thought he was going to land with was possibly the Raiders. You know, the
Brady would
Tom Brady
never.
connection. But
Tom
yeah,
Brady would never.
that did shock me. I didn't think Belichick was going to go back to coaching at a collegiate level. But what does this do for the University of North Carolina? I mean, they're already starting to get some attention from transfer portal players because, if a coach like Bill Belichick's coming to college, you want to go play for him. Yeah,
Just
Anthony, he's
jump
not,
back in.
because if he does try to do it, which I don't think any team would let them, because literally I said this to Sam the other day, he's not making it out of his rookie contract. He's going to be so banged up, beat up. He won't. No team's going to want to give him that second contract because his body's just going to fall apart on him. Like, yeah, it's cool doing it at a collegiate level when you're playing, some very below average teams a lot and a few good teams. Yeah, that works out. Makes your stats look nice. But At the next level, what are you going to do? Some teams view you as a better cornerback. Some teams view you as a receiver. Which one are you going to go with? Which one's
He's
going
a
to
better
be the most successful for him?
he's a better wide receiver than he is a corner. That's where the money is for him.
And also, I did
But
look it
back
up.
to
There isn't a rule. There is no rule in the NFL against playing both sides of football. Because think about it. There are some players who play linebacker and fullback.
I say go Gamecocks. Yeah, the Gamecocks actually had a decent year this year. They played pretty well.
They did. It's nice to see the South Carolina Gamecocks have some successful seasons.
So Anthony said Bill to UNC was a PR move to make his son the head coach soon. Here's my other thing with the Belichick thing, right? My biggest thought with the Belichick thing was I feel like he looked into last year, right? He saw what happened. He only got one head coaching interview, and he didn't even get the job. So if
Yeah.
I'm him, he may have just thought, I'm not going to get one of these jobs. Like, I'm sorry. Like, the Bears, they're not going to call him.
He has to prove himself again, which honestly, that's how you do it at the college level. You got to
Yeah, but
reprove
he signed
yourself.
a 5-year deal. He's going to be 77 when that deal's up
So, hey, if he's
there.
still
So,
healthy, hey, why can't he still coach? If it's what he loves to do, and he's able to do it, why not?
yeah. I mean, now, do you think UNC will? I'm interested to see how he deals with collegiate athletes because this ain't the NFL.
Yeah, because we all know how those Patriots teams were ran and what a lot of former players had to say about it. It's going to be real interesting.
They went from the oldest coach to the oldest coach.
He probably sat back and looked at that team and was like, no,
No,
no.
he's had an up close personal view for 20 years. I think a lot of the problem with Belichick in the NFL was those final couple years without Brady. There was not a lot of good player development. There was not a lot of good drafting. And at the end of the day, it was just not going to be enough for him to stay around. And I personally do not believe that he had the confidence to go back into the NFL cycle again.
Yeah.
Well, Anthony, he's already got a 4-star quarterback commit from Penn State to flip. Thanks, Bill. So, I mean, you think some kids may say, like, wow, Coach Belichick, I want to go play for that and see how it's
Yeah.
like.
And that's exactly what's going to happen. What do these kids clamor for, right? A good example is Alabama. That was the school to play for when Saban was coaching it. Now,
Exactly.
after one bad
Like they
season without
cheated.
Saban, all these players are leaving. They're
Yep.
gone. They're running for the hills because they want to play for an elite level coach, not some unproven guy. Air footballs.
Come on, Mike.
The
But
flip.
yeah, it would be interesting to see if UNC gets some decent talent in the transfer portal because UNC has developed a couple NFL names.
Yeah,
You know, Drake May. Right? Drake May came out of UNC, didn't he?
I think he did.
I'm pretty sure because didn't we make jokes about the Trubisky thing with him?
Oh gosh, yeah, yeah, he did.
I'm being dead
Came
serious.
out of yeah,
Yeah, so I mean, him, Trubisky, they have a couple other like mid-round draft guys come out there in a little bit, so it'll be interesting to see. I just personally, once again, think that this was Belichick looking around and saying there ain't going to be much. I don't think he thinks there's going to be a lot of interest in him at the NFL because of the way the NFL is now.
yeah.
You have to adapt, and he didn't.
And based off of, like I said, based off of success, if he's still able to coach football and he's still feeling like coaching football after his contract's up there, and he gets some offers at the next level again, he might go for it.
But I think it's going to. If they're on TV, I may tune into some UNC, see how that looks, because that's going to be a weird look.
They will.
But anywho, I'm sportsed out for the night. You got anything else to add?
Long show.
It was a good show.
It was. Ashton Jantu is cheated. He is the people's Heisman.
He's going to probably win the national title.
Can't wait to see him run amok in the playoffs. Something that Travis Hunter won't get to do because he didn't do enough to help his team make it that far. Sorry, not sorry.
Friday night can't come fast enough. Well, first of all, before we get out of here, thank you everybody once again for joining us here on 609 Sports Talk. This was an absolute banger of a show. Matt, unfortunately for your laptop dying towards the end, we want to thank you for joining us again. It felt like it was the OG crew back together. You know, there was the Shield reunion.
Flashback to 2020.
Oh my God. You with the afro, me with the caveman, Matt with the Sheldon Brown, Jason mask. Oh, that was the show. That was the show. So, Matt, once again, if you're still watching, want to thank you for joining us tonight. Always welcome. Anybody who wants to be on is welcome. Bruiser, if you're still watching, like I said, I do want to get you on a show and talk some college football one day. So we will be in touch. We'll make that happen. So as for everyone else, thank you all for joining us tonight. Georgie, thank you for your comments. Mike, Anthony, Carol, as always. Brian, I'm pretty sure you threw a comment or two in there tonight. So thank you all for joining us tonight. We hope you all enjoyed tonight's show. If you didn't get a chance to watch us live, you can always go back over to 609's YouTube page or our Facebook page and go rewatch our shows. And hey, while you're at it, leave a like and subscribe while you're over there. So thank you all for joining us tonight. Have a safe rest of your week. And we will see you guys next Monday. For Tyler Adams, I am Sam Nelson. Good night, everybody.